Chapter 2918. Lin Fei really didn't think that he would be the first to come out. It seems like I was too fast. In one exchange, he encountered a shadow mutant with the battle power of a great sovereign. Its strength was very terrifying, and its power was fierce and tyrannical, crushing all the way. The moment he came into contact, the other party's power rushed in, continuously crushing the life energy in his body. After a dozen exchanges, Lin Fei figured out what it was. Shadow Commander, the boss of this floor. Only by defeating the Shadow Commander can you go to the next floor. Lin Fei also discovered the strength of the Shadow Commander. It could completely explode with the strength of a great sovereign, and its armor had the attack immunity ability. During this period, his attacks landed on the Shadow Commander's body several times, but he didn't suffer much damage. Later, after analyzing it with the system, he found out that it had the ability to avoid damage. In addition, the Shadow Commander had the ability to move freely in this place without any restrictions. With the first strike, the Shadow Commander dodged and turned around to attack, catching people off guard. Lin Fei relied on Proud Heaven's late-stage 8th layer physical body, but he also suffered several injuries. Each time, it brought about a huge destructive power, and he went on a rampage all the way. The Shadow Commander was very strong, but Lin Fei had Proud Heaven and the Sky Splitter Rod, so it shouldn't be difficult to kill it. However, after exchanging over 100 blows, the Dark Shadow Commander was injured and forced to retreat. He had thought that he would be able to obtain a life crystal, but in the next moment, the Dark Shadow Commander returned to the altar, fully healed. After going back and forth a few times, Lin Fei was completely speechless. This was simply a bug. When he was about to die, he ran back to recover. Fortunately, Lin Fei's physical body was strong, and when he fought with the Shadow Commander, he could steal some of its life energy, so he wouldn't be unable to recover. How can I fight like this? After 3 days and 3 nights, when Lin Fei saw the Dark Shadow Commander resurrect to full health once more, he was utterly defeated. It's really difficult for me to kill the Dark Shadow Commander alone. Even if I go all out, I won't be able to stop the Dark Shadow Commander from reviving to full health. In this place, he's almost invincible. What the hell? He really couldn't stop the Shadow Commander. The Shadow Commander's unlimited movement was extremely terrifying. If I want to kill the Dark Shadow Commander, I have to join forces with someone else. It's really difficult to kill him alone. With this thought in mind, Lin Fei did not expect to be able to kill the Dark Shadow Commander. What a joke. With this setting, even if he went all out, he would not be able to do it. He changed his method and started to wander around the Dark Shadow Commander. For Lin Fei, defense was always the easiest. It was even more convenient to move around. Half a month later, someone came out from one of the tunnels. Ha ha ha, looks like we're the first to come out. Once they were out of the Dark Shadow corridor, the Elysian Son of Heaven laughed heartily. Even though there was a trace of fatigue on his face, at least they had made it out of the Dark Shadow corridor safely. But in the next second, the Dark Shadow Commander changed its target. After fighting for half a month, the Dark Shadow Commander was still unable to capture his opponent. Instead, he was injured everywhere. Gritting his teeth, when he sensed that someone was coming, he immediately changed his method. With a spatial movement, he appeared in front of the Elysian Son of Heaven and chopped down with his axe. Cold light shot out in all directions. Caught off guard, the Elysian Son of Heaven was sent flying and crashed into the rock wall. He spat out a mouthful of blood on the spot. High Lord Yifei and High Lord Huanglang, as well as High Lord Chuanshan and High Lord Wuqing, immediately reacted and took out their treasures to protect in front of them. However, facing the attack of the Dark Shadow Commander, the 4 of them changed their expressions. Too powerful. In a short period of time, they seemed to have walked a circle on the edge of death. What the hell is this? The Elysian Son of Heaven's blood and chi surged. The Emperor's will protection around his body was also shattered into a mess. The battle armor on his body was also dented. It looked shocking, Brother Sheng, be careful. This seems to be the Dark Shadow Commander recorded in the information. High Lord Yi reminded. It's very powerful. It seems to be invincible. It was not easy to get out of the Dark Shadow corridor. Before he could even catch his breath, he encountered the Dark Shadow Commander. The Elysian Son of Heaven was filled with anger. What bullsh**! T Dark Shadow Commander. See how I kill him! A dream in vain. A huge bubble enveloped the Dark Shadow Commander. With a loud bang, the Dark Shadow Commander was injured. This move was a Sacred Soul Level 9 secret technique. It was very powerful, especially its lethality. The Elysian Son of Heaven was very confident in his strength. After defeating the Dark Shadow Commander in one move, he became high-spirited. He attacked again and again. Vairocana appeared behind him. Buddha's light shone. The Dark Shadow Commander's body constantly emitted black smoke. On the opposite side, Lin Fei replaced the Sky Splitter Rod in his hand with the Sky Splitter Hammer and watched the Elysian Son of Heaven attack the Dark Shadow Commander. You'll be dumbfounded later. The corner of Lin Fei's mouth rose. Brother Sheng, let us help you. High Lord Yi Fei and the other three attacked. They could see that although the Dark Shadow Commander was retreating, it was impossible for the Elysian Son of Heaven to severely injure or even kill it. He was far from enough. When the five of them joined forces, their offensive power increased greatly. Although the Dark Shadow Commander was powerful and kept using big moves, it still could not do anything to them. All right, the Dark Shadow Commander is seriously injured. The Elysian Son of Heaven released a big move. The Dark Shadow Commander was on the verge of collapse. He laughed. Everyone, let's attack together and kill the Dark Shadow Commander. Maybe it will drop something good. High Lord Yi Fei also laughed. However, in the next second, under the siege of the five, the Dark Shadow Commander disappeared and returned to the altar. Whoosh! 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 His injuries were healed, and he was full of blood. His battle power was restored to its peak. With a move, he appeared behind High Lord Yi Fei and slashed down. High Lord Yi Fei, who took the attack head-on, vomited blood and was sent flying. How is this possible? Wasn't the Dark Shadow Commander heavily injured and on the verge of death? Why isn't he injured at all? The Elysian Son of Heaven's eyes widened, unable to react. It's like he was never injured. Not good, he's coming again. While they were hesitating, the Dark Shadow Commander's big axe kept attacking. After a large-scale attack, High Lord Huanglang and the other two High Lords were all sent flying, leaving only the Elysian Son of Heaven. Buddha's palm. The Elysian Son of Heaven was enraged. He had never used this move before. The Dark Shadow Commander in front of him was extremely terrifying, causing him to feel immense pressure. This was a feeling that High Lord powerhouses would not feel. The Elysian Son of Heaven did not believe that the Dark Shadow Commander could withstand it. The great Buddha behind him followed the Elysian Son's palm, and the great Buddha followed suit. The two palms fused together, and countless great Buddhas appeared on the palms. Bang! Bang! Before the attack reached the Dark Shadow Commander's body, its powerful physical defense also began to collapse, turning into black flesh and blood. More than half of the Dark Shadow Commander's body almost melted away. Seeing that it was about to hit, the Dark Shadow Commander moved again and directly returned to the altar. Its flesh and blood were reconstructed. The Buddha's palms slapped horizontally and landed heavily on the altar. A Jingguang appeared in front of the Elysian Son of Heaven's palm, forcibly blocking it. The altar behind it did not move at all. Damn it, this is the Buddha's palm. The Elysian Son of Heaven could not help but vomit a mouthful of blood. Holy Deputy Hall Master, stop fighting. You won't be able to kill the Dark Shadow Commander like this. Don't waste your energy. Suddenly, a voice came out of nowhere. The Elysian Son of Heaven found it a little familiar. This sounds like Lin Fei's voice. How is this possible? How did he get here? Chapter 2919. Holy Son of Heaven finally saw Lin Fei. Holy Son of Heaven was confused. The first thought that came to his mind was, why is he here? Didn't you go out? Why are you here? Holy Son of Heaven had long assumed that Lin Fei was no longer in the Shadow Throne. The 5 of them had chosen the safe Shadow Corridor. They had suffered so much during this time, so Lin Fei must have left by now. But now he did not go out. He was even looking at them with a smile. Supremacy Yi Fei and the others also noticed Lin Fei's presence. Their expressions were similar to Holy Son of Heaven's. They were all dumbfounded. Lin Fei actually came earlier than them. The most shocking thing was that not only did he come early, but he also survived the Shadow Commander's attack. What kind of joke was this? They thought that their eyes must be playing tricks on them. This was definitely not the Lin Fei they knew. He was not just a little bit stronger. From the moment they entered the Shadow Throne, they did not take Lin Fei seriously. He had successfully passed through the Shadow Corridor alone. Those Shadow Swordsmen were not easy to deal with. Why do I have to go out? Lin Fei smiled. Speaking of which, I was lucky. I did not encounter any Shadow Swordsmen along the way. Only the gravitational field was a little uncomfortable. Then I came here smoothly. Could it be that you were under a lot of pressure along the way? Then I can only say that you are unlucky. Luck? Hearing this, Holy Son of Heaven could not help but spit out a mouthful of blood. After the Shadow Commander healed, he was the first to attack Holy Son of Heaven. Could it be that my rainbow lucky pearl is not good? Holy Son of Heaven shook his head. Why was Lin Fei luckier than him? Other than this explanation, he really did not believe that Lin Fei could pass through alone. What a lucky bastard. It was not easy for them to come over. When they heard these words, their faces felt like they were being slapped. After all, there were 5 of them. Lin Fei's appearance here was a huge blow to Holy Son of Heaven's group. They were most unwilling to see Lin Fei appear here. In the current situation, they could only watch as the Shadow Commander madly attacked them, not giving them a chance to catch their breaths. This Shadow Commander isn't easy to deal with. It can teleport and revive at full health. Take your time. Lin Fei stood on one side of the cliff and watched with a smile. Bastard. The Holy Son of Heaven cursed, but he still wanted to fight with the Shadow Commander. With the 5 of them working together, it didn't take long before they were all injured. They had lost count of how many medicinal pills they had taken. But every time they tried to kill the Dark Shadow Commander, he would always escape. 5 days passed in the blink of an eye. Saint Son of Heaven and the others looked tired, especially the 2 old Supremacy Lords. They had to protect the 2 newcomers. After 5 days, their bodies were riddled with wounds. Looking at the Dark Shadow Commanders again, they seemed to be completely fine. Gradually, they had grasped the Dark Shadow Commander's attacking methods, becoming extremely difficult to deal with. During this time, it wasn't that they didn't split up to attack the altar. Unfortunately, the Dark Shadow Commander would immediately return to the altar. They couldn't do anything. Vice Hall Master Lin, as someone who came in together, aren't you going to help? If we can't kill the Dark Shadow Commander, we can forget about going to the next level. Yi Fei looked at Lin Fei, who seemed to be fine. He was furious. Why did they have to endure the Dark Shadow Commander's ferocious attacks while he had nothing to do? After 5 days, Yi Fei also felt a huge pressure. The opponent was too strong. Every strike was filled with boundless power, and it was extremely strenuous for them to block. They had also consumed a lot of energy, so they wanted to pull Lin Fei down. At the very least, a body refinement supremacy could resist the Umbra Commander head-on. Lin Fei shook his head. Forget it. If the 5 of you can't do it, I'll just be looking for a beating. I feel pretty good now. It doesn't matter if I can't go to the next level. This was obviously a blatant lie. They didn't think so. Everyone was furious, but they didn't dare to do anything to Lin Fei. The Dark Shadow Commander's tireless attacks were the most troublesome. The longer it went on, the harder it was to block. During this time, Sage Tianzi and the rest launched fierce attacks, but they still couldn't kill the Dark Shadow Commander. On the contrary, they were in a sorry state, and they hated Lin Fei to death. Good luck. I have high hopes for you guys. Don't worry, I won't do anything to you guys. Lin Fei felt that they had no motivation, so he simply cheered them on. The Dark Shadow Commander had suffered in Lin Fei's hands. After thinking about it, Sage Tianzi and the rest were easier to deal with. With a killing move like the Buddha's palm, the Dark Shadow Commander locked onto them. Ha ha ha, we're finally out. 3 days later, Su Heng brought 2 newcomers out. They saw a chaotic scene. The Dark Shadow Commander's terrifying aura swept out. After discovering the newcomers, it gave up on Sage Tianzi and the rest and attacked Su Heng. A shield appeared in front of them. Dark Shadow Commander. Su Heng's expression changed as he understood. Sage Tianzi and the rest finally heaved a sigh of relief, but they didn't dare to be careless. The opponent could move, especially in this place where treasures couldn't restrict it. If it turned around and attacked, they would be the unlucky ones. Too troublesome. Sage Tianzi panted and took out a pill to eat. Yi Fei and the other 2 did the same. They quickly recovered their energy. In these few days, they didn't know how many pills they had eaten. Even they felt heartache. The Shadow Commander on the first floor had already caused them to suffer greatly, especially when Lin Fei was watching from the side. That feeling was very uncomfortable. Now that Su Heng had appeared, it was as though they had gotten rid of a problem. If the Dark Shadow Throne was too attractive, they would want to leave. Facing the Dark Shadow Commander was too terrifying. It couldn't be killed, and it couldn't be killed. Who would be willing to deal with it? Supremacy Su Heng's shield didn't last long before it shattered. The Umber Commander's frenzied attacks also made Supremacy Su Heng feel immense pressure. He finally understood that Holy Son of Heaven's expression was one of Schadenfreude. I can't block it, it's too strong. Whoosh! Whoosh! Right at this moment, dozens of sword intents flew out from the Dark Shadow corridor. Pooh! Pooh! Bloody wounds exploded on the Dark Shadow Commander's body as sword intents filled the air. Supremacy Su Heng was secretly delighted. Such a terrifying killing intent. It was definitely the solitary sword that came out. At the end of the Dark Shadow corridor, Dugu Yijian walked out in a sorry state. He put 2 fingers together and a sword intent slashed out, sending the Dark Shadow Commander flying and crashing into the wall. Thank you, Brother Dugu. The Dark Shadow Commander is too troublesome. Su Heng said gratefully, You're welcome. We're all in the same boat. Chapter 2920. The 10 Supremacies finally gathered together again. At this moment, everyone's mentality was different. The Dark Shadow Commander did not care who they were. It raised its shield, and the axe in its hand raised strong winds and huge waves, attacking indiscriminately. So. Spatial movement was also executed to the extreme. Everyone was very smart and carried out a certain level of defense. They did not attack the Dark Shadow Commander. No matter which side, they could forget about killing the Dark Shadow Commander. Half a day later, this small place was divided into 4 groups. The Dark Shadow Commander took turns to attack, giving everyone a headache. If they could not kill it, they would not be able to bear the exhaustion if they continued. How to kill the Dark Shadow Commander was a problem. Elysian's son was the first to speak. If this continued, it would not end well for anyone. They could only work together. Destroying that altar was the most important. Without that unlimited recovery, the Dark Shadow Commander could not continue to threaten their lives. Work together. It was imperative. I think we cannot continue. We have to work together to deal with the Dark Shadow Commander. Otherwise, none of us will be able to go to the next floor. Elysian's son suggested, and his tone became solemn. A few days passed, and they still could not take down the Dark Shadow Commander. Instead, their exhaustion increased. Every day they stayed here meant one more day of exhaustion. That's right, we have to work together. The Dark Shadow Commander must die. With our strength, if we work together, as long as we have the right strategy, we will definitely be able to kill the Dark Shadow Commander. Supremacy, Ife followed. If we don't work together, none of us will be able to pass. I believe that everyone has experienced the power of the Dark Shadow Commander. High Lord Huanglang stood up. Only by working together will we have a chance against the Dark Shadow Commander. Their team had the most people. Once Elysian Sun suggested it, Supremacy Su Hung considered for a moment and chose to agree. They had worked so hard to come here. They did not wish to be stopped by the Dark Shadow Commander. I have no problem with that. Elysian Sun looked at Dugu Yijian. What about Brother Dugu? I have no problem either. Dugu Yijian's sword intent was very destructive, but it was still lacking against the Dark Shadow Commander. He could not kill it in one strike. Finally, only Lin Fei was left. I have no problem joining the team. We are only working together for a short period of time. However, there is one thing I have to make clear. Lin Fei also wanted to go to the next floor as soon as possible. After killing the Shadow Commander, what about the items that drop? The Shadow Commander had a strong vitality, and Lin Fei had the little demon analyze it. The other party's vitality was countless times more tyrannical than that of the Shadow Swordsman Squad Captain, at least 5 times more. What interested Lin Fei the most was whether the Dark Shadow Commander would drop life crystals. That was the most important thing. If he could absorb and refine this life crystal, he would definitely be able to raise his physical body's cultivation by a large margin. No matter what, he couldn't let this opportunity slip by. The Elysian Son of Heaven glanced at Lin Fei. This was the last thing he wanted to talk about. We can divide the items into 10 portions. The 5 of us can take 5 portions. Brother Su and the other 2 can take 3 portions. You and Dugu Yijian can take 1 each. There shouldn't be any objections, right? The Elysian Son of Heaven said after pondering for a moment. Lin Fei was the first to shake his head. Then forget it. I don't know how 1 portion will be calculated. Maybe you guys will choose it first, and the rest will be given to us. If that's the case, I probably won't have a chance of getting anything good. Since that's the case, I'm not going to make a move. Anyway, I'm already satisfied to be able to reach this point. Before making things clear, Lin Fei wouldn't make a move. Dugu Yijian's expression was calm, and no one could tell what he was thinking. Su Hung and the other 2's expressions also changed. They understood the Elysian Son of Heaven's meaning. If the items dropped, it seemed that the Elysian Son of Heaven's group would have the first choice. According to the Elysian Son of Heaven's idea, the physique cultivator Lin Fei had to join. Otherwise, who would fight the Shadow Commander? Could it be them? Previously, they had all experienced the prowess of the Shadow Commander. Without the support of a physique cultivator, they wouldn't be able to kill it. Previously, they didn't attach any importance to Lin Fei, but now he had become extremely important. After all, the Elysian Son of Heaven wasn't a physique cultivator, and his physique wasn't as strong as Lin Fei's. That won't do. Although we are temporarily working together, we still have to do things according to the rules. The Elysian Son of Heaven wasn't willing to compromise. He had to get the biggest share of killing the Shadow Commander. Lin Fei was very clear about the Elysian Son of Heaven's character. He couldn't wait for Lin Fei to get out of the Shadow Throne. It was impossible for him to give Lin Fei any benefits. Lin Fei was also confident that without his help, the Shadow Commander wouldn't be so easy to kill. Then I'll back out. Lin Fei said unhurriedly, You guys kill first. I'll cheer you guys on from the side. Brother Sheng, this fellow Lin Fei isn't willing to join us. Instead, he wants to take advantage of the situation. Why don't we chase him out? Yi Fei transmitted his voice. If we keep him around, it's hard to guarantee that nothing will happen to him. This fellow can pass the first round. If he goes to the second level, it'll be very disadvantageous for us. The Elysian son of heaven thought about it and agreed. Even without Lin Fei, they had 9 people. It shouldn't be difficult to kill the Shadow Commander. He believed that Su Heng and Duge Ijian wouldn't interfere. Lin Fei had offended many supremacies in the Shadow Palace. Even if he went out, no one would take it seriously. Resources needed to be fought over. This was something that the higher-ups tacitly agreed to. Then chase Lin Fei out. Does he really think that I lack a physique cultivator like him? The Elysian son transmitted his voice to Yi Fei and the other supremacies. Very quickly, they came up with a countermeasure. When the Shadow Commander once again appeared in front of the Elysian son of heaven, the Elysian son of heaven directly used Buddha's palm and destroyed half of the Shadow Commander's body. This time, the Elysian son of heaven intentionally controlled his strength. The Shadow Commander fell into a berserk state. It launched a frenzied attack. The Elysian son of heaven flew in the direction of Lin Fei. Yi Fei and the others behind him did the same. This was a detail that they had noticed in the past few days. They wanted the Shadow Commander to attack Lin Fei. With the addition of the 5 of them, they should be able to chase Lin Fei out of the Shadow Throne. You guys are really shameless. Lin Fei was instantly locked down by 6 terrifying auras. The Elysian son of heaven gritted his teeth and used Buddha's palm. Although it consumed a lot of energy, it was still worth it if it could chase Lin Fei out. If he didn't listen to us, there was no point in staying here. The huge palm came whistling over. It didn't give Lin Fei any chance to resist. The other 4 supremacies cooperated very well. Since they had attacked, they didn't hold back. Their strength was almost combined into one. It wasn't inferior to a thunderous strike. Its power was comparable to a grand supremacy's strike. The Shadow Commander, who had fallen into a berserk state, also used a big move. A series of black shadows appeared. Its power increased explosively as it blasted towards Lin Fei. Chapter 29-21. No one had expected Elysian son of heaven to really make a move. Actually, this kind of thing was very normal. While the Dark Shadow Palace looked harmonious, it was not. The internal strife was intense, and this was also a way for experts to train themselves. It was no joke that a general success was built on thousands of bones. As long as they did not kill each other, everyone acted as if nothing had happened. Even Lord Divinity Dark Shadow walked up step by step like this. There were no shortcuts. The Dark Shadow Throne was actually such a place to fight, especially for experts like Elysian son of heaven and Duge Ijian. They were young and had high cultivation, so it was difficult to get along. Strife was unavoidable. Supremacy Su Heng watched quietly. "Are we going to make a move later?" the young Supremacy Pain Star asked. Lin Fei is a little too arrogant. Serves him right for being unlucky. Wouldn't it have been fine if he had just agreed to it? Supremacy Su Heng really did not want to interfere in this matter. Let's watch slowly. No matter how they fight, they will eventually rope us into deal with the Dark Shadow Commander. Supremacy Su Heng was also a wily old fox. There was no need to interfere in such a meaningless matter. What a pity! Pain Star and Falling Flower's supremacy shook their heads. If it were them, they would definitely not offend Elysian son of heaven and his group. Moreover, the Dark Shadow Commander was involved, and his strength was not as simple as it seemed. No matter how strong Lin Fei was, he was still a peak supremacy. Just the Dark Shadow Commander alone was an expert that surpassed the peak supremacy level. Duge Ijian did not have much of an opinion on whether or not to join forces. Instead, he was more and more interested in Lin Fei. 1 against 5 supremacies, and a Dark Shadow Commander that surpassed the peak supremacy level. I wonder what gives you the right to say such bold words. I really look forward to it. In Duge Ijian's mind, he was constantly analyzing how to make a move and how to fight for a chance to counterattack under such a siege. This was also one of his favorite ways. Thinking nonstop. Lin Fei had long predicted that they would act shamelessly. It was not that such a thing had never happened in the records of the Dark Shadow Palace. The little fiend had copied the first and second floors. These secrets were no longer secrets in Lin Fei's eyes. Proud sky protection against the attacks of 5 supremacies and 1 Dark Shadow Commander. Lin Yun had no choice but to retreat. Lin Fei activated the Proud Heavens Barricade, causing a thin layer of golden light to appear around him. The sky splitter hammer in his hand smashed out towards the void, causing the entire void to become flat. Boom! Endless waves swept out. Bang, bang, bang. As the waves spread out, a portion of the combined attacks from the sacred sons of heaven and the others were neutralized. The remaining portion of the attacks all collided with Jing Guang, constantly melting and disintegrating until they completely disappeared. The faces of Elysian Son of Heaven, Exalt Yi Fei, and Exalt Huang Lang darkened. His strength has actually increased again. What kind of joke is this? His protective technique has also become more powerful. What the hell? All 3 of them were peak supremacies. Just the power of that blow alone was enough for them to feel the changes within it. It was the true power of a big move. The most terrifying thing was that protective technique. It was so powerful that it formed an absolute layer of defense. The 5 of them, together with the attack of the Dark Shadow Commander, actually did not pose the slightest threat to Lin Fei. Do you guys still want to continue? Lin Fei held the sky splitter hammer and smiled. If it's not enough, you guys can continue. However, let me get rid of this annoying guy first. Swoosh! Lin Fei's speed increased to the limit. Everyone could only hear the thumping sound. The huge body of the Dark Shadow Commander flew out and slammed heavily into the rock wall. The speed was too fast. After reaching the late stage of the 8th level of Proud Heavens, Lin Fei's physical body could display even faster speed. Too fast. Du Guijian's eyes lit up. This is a sign that the physical body has improved again. The stronger the physical body, the faster the speed. Even if it was an ordinary movement technique, with the support of a tyrannical physical body, it could be reached to the extreme. Also, that power just now, directly breaking through the surface with a huge area of effect attack. The Dark Shadow Commander looked like it was not injured, but in fact it was seriously injured. What a domineering method. At this moment, Du Guijian was stunned by Lin Fei's performance. Just based on that move, Lin Fei's strength had surpassed everyone. If he could fight the Dark Shadow Commander alone, he would not lose. Of course, if the fight dragged on, the Dark Shadow Commander would still win. He actually sent the Dark Shadow Commander flying. The Dark Shadow Commander had no ability to resist. If it was said that Lin Fei could easily block their joint attack. But at this moment, when the Dark Shadow Commander was sent flying, it was enough to shock them. Among everyone present, other than Du Guijian, probably no one could easily injure the Dark Shadow Commander. Even the Elysian Son of Heaven was the same. His killer moved Buddha's palm. The power was peerless, but it was not that powerful. It was obviously a level lower. The Elysian Son's expression turned ugly. This kind of attack, I wonder how many times you can release it. The Elysian Son really did not believe that Lin Fei's strength could still increase in such a short time. Kill! The 5 of them attacked again. After the Dark Shadow Commander suffered a big move, it pounced toward Supremacy Su Heng, who was not far away. Du Guijian followed up with a sword strike. Streams of sword intent blasted on the Dark Shadow Commander's body. Lin Fei's speed was no slower than the Dark Shadow Commander's movement speed. A hammer smashed towards the Elysian Son of Heaven's face. A loud cracking sound. The Emperor Will body protection was shattered. The second hammer followed, smashing heavily on the Elysian Son's chest. Cracks appeared on his battle armor, and his entire person was sent flying. Spatial oscillation. After his attack succeeded, terrifying energy rippled around Lin Fei's body. The slightly weaker Mountain Supremacy and Ruthless Supremacy were directly sent flying. Supremacy Yifei and Supremacy Huanglang were impacted and their bodies swayed. In the next second, more than 10 shadows came crashing over. They joined forces to block 7 or 8 of them, but there were still 7 or 8 shadows that landed on their bodies, and they were directly beaten silly. Now, do you still want to fight? After his strength increased, Lin Fei's strength was even greater than before. Even if he restrained a portion of his strength, he could still easily defeat them. We don't want to fight anymore. We are from the Dark Shadow Palace. Let's talk things out. Supremacy Yifei and Supremacy Huanglang could feel the explosive and destructive power in their bodies the most. It was rampaging all the way, and they were forced to use all their strength to suppress that power. This feeling was extremely uncomfortable. Brother Shang, it was not easy for us to come here. Vice Hall Master Lin's strength is also here. Why don't we join forces? Dugu Yijian smiled and said, As for the distribution of the items, we will first ask Lin Fei. Chapter 29-22. The Dark Shadow Commander was also sent flying, his body riddled with bloody gashes and bruises. Howling, he returned to the altar in bedraggled fashion, where he began to heal his wounds. Yifei also thought that Dugu Yijian was right. Now they finally knew how powerful Lin Fei was. He really lived up to his reputation. No wonder he could suppress the Elysian sun. Yifei himself also suffered a little. Compared to the last time, Lin Fei's strength had improved a lot. His use of strength was even more terrifying. He could easily break through their Emperor Will protection. If they continued, there would be no benefits. They could see that if Lin Fei didn't join them, Dugu Yijian might stand on the side. At that time, with the 8 of them injured, no one would be able to take down the Dark Shadow Commander. Sure, the Elysian Sun was reluctant. The chaotic, destructive power in his body told him one thing. Lin Fei's strength seemed to be above him. Deputy Hall Leader Lin, it was just a misunderstanding. Yifei said, shamelessly, Don't mind it. We were just testing. We are not targeting Deputy Hall Leader Lin. Lin Fei secretly scolded them for being shameless, but on the surface he chuckled. I'll cut to the chase. Everyone's goal is the same, so I'll be frank. The Dark Shadow Commander's final blow must be dealt by me. As for where it will fall, that will depend on personal advantage. Whoever can snatch it first will get it. What do you all think? Yifei and the Elysian Sun were prepared to pay a big price. As long as it was not an extremely dangerous person, they would agree. With Lin Fei's participation, it would definitely be twice the result with half the effort. But after hearing Lin Fei's words, everyone doubted that they had heard wrongly. So simple. The Dark Shadow Commander's last attack? This did not seem too much. Could there be some secret? But no matter how they guessed, they could not find any secret. As for snatching it by themselves, they were not worried. After all, there were 5 of them. Even if Lin Fei was fast, he could still delay the other party. This requirement was too low. Sure, no problem at all. Revered Lord Yifei quickly agreed. Everyone can make an oath, and we can start the operation. No matter what Lin Fei thought, they would not refuse these 2 conditions. Without waiting for Lin Fei to say anything, they immediately swore an oath, afraid that Lin Fei would change his mind. Su Heng and the others did not understand. What is Lin Fei trying to do? These 2 conditions did not affect Supremacy Su Heng. Deep down in his heart, he actually hoped that this was the case. There were 3 of them, and their chances were still very high. Dugu Yijian gave a thumbs up to Lin Fei. Interesting, really interesting. What happened next was simple. Leave the Dark Shadow Commander to me and Brother Dugu. After a simple discussion, Lin Fei chose to attack the Shadow Commander while the Elysian children and the others attacked the altar. That place could not be so sturdy. As long as they kept attacking, there would always be a chance. No one had any objections. If they could, they would rather attack the altar than the Shadow Commander. Kill. Lin Fei executed spatial oscillation, which shook the Shadow Commander's body. He followed up, and countless shadows appeared behind him. The Sky Splitter Hammer in his hand smashed onto the Shadow Commander's body. Ha ha! If you guys make a move, wouldn't the Dark Shadow Commander's life energy be wasted for nothing? This thing is good stuff. Lin Fei's current fleshly body was at the late stage of Prideful Heaven Tier 8. He could still absorb as much as he could without too many restrictions. Brother Dugu, can your domain stop the Shadow Commander for a short while? Lin Fei's attacks were very fast, and he did not give the Shadow Commander any chance to move. After his strength increased, he could keep up with the Shadow Commander's movement speed. However, he felt that he was still lacking, and he needed Dugu Yijian's help. Sure, Dugu Yijian was still a man of few words. He unleashed his sword domain. Return. Under Lin Fei's barrage of attacks, the Dark Shadow Commander moved. Dugu Yijian did not give it an opportunity. His sword slashed through the air, cutting off the Dark Shadow Commander's path. Lin Fei took this opportunity to force the Dark Shadow Commander out. Although the Shadow Commander was unable to reach the altar, it was still able to reach the edge of the altar. The injuries on its body had actually recovered to a certain extent. Lin Fei caught up. Looks like we can only kill the Shadow Commander by destroying the altar. What an amazing method! Dugu Yijian revealed a look of surprise. Just now, when he slashed through the air, the Shadow Commander was injured, but it still rushed over. Chase him out. Everyone immediately attacked the Dark Shadow Commander, forcing it away from the altar. Lin Fei and Dugu Yijian attacked the most fiercely. The Shadow Commander quickly rushed out of the altar's range. Once it left the range, they continued to attack the altar. Vice Hall Master Lin, we cannot attack too fiercely. Otherwise, everyone's efforts would be in vain. We have to wander around and slowly drag it out. Lin Fei felt that this was a good idea. Time passed day by day. Lin Fei and Dugu Yijian had been attacking the Shadow Commander for a month. Every time, they would make the Elysian children and the rest destroy the altar. Only Lin Fei was able to attack for a month without any consumption. The Elysian children and the rest did not have it easy. They were as tired as dogs. Fortunately, the altar was starting to show signs of damage. Lin Fei had already grasped the Shadow Commander's attacking habits. Every time he returned, he would cut off the path ahead of time. With Dugu Yijian's cooperation, the Shadow Commander's recovery speed became slower and slower. This feels great. It's a pity that I only have one chance like this. After a month of absorbing and plundering, Lin Fei's prideful celestial 8th layer had increased by quite a bit. His physical strength had also become more tyrannical and terrifying. Lin Fei absolutely believed that if he used an elemental energy weapon, he would be able to send the Shadow Commander flying with a single strike. Crack, 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 crack. A loud sound came from the altar. A few of the altar's pillars finally fell. Now is the best chance. In this month, they had discovered that the pillars on the altar were clearly not ordinary. Therefore, as long as the pillars were broken, their recovery speed would decrease. Kill! Lin Fei and Dugu Yijian did not hold back. They unleashed their ultimate moves at the Shadow Commander. Roar, roar, roar! Under the continuous attacks, the Shadow Commander's life force became weaker and weaker. It constantly tried to return to the altar, but it was beaten out every time. Even if it had the ability to move in this narrow space, if it wanted to block the attacks, it would not be a problem. Die. The Shadow Commander's aura was very weak. Lin Fei unleashed his thunderclap leap, tearing the Dark Shadow Commander's body to shreds. An extremely dense wave of life energy poured into his body like a flood. Chapter 29-23. A huge amount of life energy surged into his body, and Lin Fei felt like he was about to explode. Lin Fei had never thought that he would plunder so much life energy at the last moment. It was unbelievably dense, and even the powerful Proud Heaven could not adapt to it for a moment. In the past, the life energy absorbed was like a small river, but this time it was like a surging river. If it was an ordinary heavenly god body, it would have exploded and died the moment it entered. Refine it all. Lin Fei activated proud heaven, and his entire body was like a millstone, constantly suppressing the life energy. His flesh and blood cells also opened up bottomless pits, constantly devouring, refining, and absorbing. Fortunately, Lin Fei had improved and managed to suppress it. All that was left was to slowly refine it, and his essence, energy, and spirit had also recovered to its peak. Elysian's son and the rest had been paying attention to the Dark Shadow Commander. This thing would drop good things after its death, which was also a major feature of the Dark Shadow throne. A dream come true! When the Dark Shadow Commander died, a resplendent light appeared. Elysian's son's attack came, and his first target was to trap Lin Fei. Quick, snatch it! There seems to be life crystals. Good stuff! No one cared so much about it. When it dropped, Lin Fei had asked Little Fiend to keep a close eye on it. Master, there's nothing good left. There are only 10 or so life crystals of average quality. It seems that Master has plundered too much, and the remaining life energy can only be converted into 10 or so life crystals. Other than that, there seems to be an axe and a shield, which can be considered good treasures. Lin Fei laughed in his heart. Looks like I've taken the big one. The life energy that he had plundered from the Dark Shadow Commander had completely exceeded his expectations. Now that he thought about it, it seemed to be the case. The axe and shield were both supreme-grade, heaven divine weapons, and they were of no use to Lin Fei. Lin Fei gave up and went to fight for them. He was not too interested in those life crystals. Great, there's actually a life crystal. Good stuff! Elysian's sons of heaven and the others were also delighted. The life crystal was a special existence. It was a high-level secret in the ancient records of the Dark Shadow Palace. Very few people below the supremacy level knew about it. The life crystal could not only be used to strengthen one's physical body for cultivation, but it could also be used to heal injuries and extend one's lifespan. Unfortunately, other than a few restricted areas, it was almost impossible to find life crystals. To High Lords, they were treasures. After killing the Dark Shadow Commander, they could drop more than 10 life crystals. This would definitely make everyone happy. Vice Pavilion Master Lin, I'm sorry. The Elysian son finally revealed a trace of pride. The 5 of them had snatched a total of 7 life crystals, including the Shadow Commander's shield. That was a good item. Even under Lin Fei's attacks, it had not been damaged. Crack, 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 crack. After killing the Dark Shadow Commander, a loud sound came from one of the walls, and a passage appeared in front of everyone. This should be the entrance to the next level. They had checked before and did not find any entrance on the wall. Now, it seemed that the Dark Shadow throne was full of mysteries. After dividing up the items dropped by the Dark Shadow Commander, everyone fixed their eyes on the altar. Unfortunately, with the death of the Dark Shadow Commander, the entire altar had become a pile of ruins. After searching for a while, they did not find anything good. They could not help but feel that it was a pity. After cultivating in this place for half a month, the Elysian sons of heaven and the others were the first to leave. They could not wait to go to the next level, which was the Dark Shadow Labyrinth. Lin Fei did not want to stand out too much, so he took out elixirs to recover. In fact, he was silently refining the life energy, and his prideful Heaven Tier 8 body was constantly breaking through the limits. Even so, there was still a large part of Lin Fei's body left. According to the current prideful Heaven Tier 8 body, he was almost at his limit. What should he do with the remaining life energy? This had become a big problem. The plunder skill was a passive skill. Lin Fei could not stop it, but if he continued, he did not have the origin energy, God, Sand, to unlock it. If he continued, his body would soon not be able to withstand the influx of life energy. Lin Fei had a headache. Actually, Master does not need to have a headache. The life energy in your body cannot be completely refined, but it can be condensed into life crystals. Little Fiend said proudly, "Just a few days ago, the system deciphered the production method of life crystals." Lin Fei's eyes lit up. It can't be. The system deciphered the production method of life crystals. He still remembered from the ancient records of the Dark Shadow Palace that life crystals were special items. By now, almost no one knew how to produce them. Thus, the value of life crystals had increased. The reason why the body tempering style could not become strong was because it was too difficult to cultivate. Back then, there were many body tempering style experts, and it was actually because of the help of life crystals. At that time, the body tempering style supremacies were all very powerful. Coupled with the life crystals that they carried with them, they were very domineering. In the Saint Spirit domain, they could do whatever they wanted. Later, the number of life crystals decreased, and the production method also disappeared. Now, the number of life crystals was very low. Even if there were any, they were in the hands of the three top forces. The words that came out of the little devil's mouth really shocked Lin Fei. Deciphering the production method of life crystals is actually not difficult. After all, the current system is a high-level system. Little Fiend said, "Master can use the excess life crystals to temporarily produce life crystals. When you break through to the 9th level of Sky Define Realm, you can use it to refine. Your strength will also increase by leaps and bounds." Lin Fei was very satisfied. This good news came at the right time. "Master, I will now impart the production method of life crystals to you." A production method immediately appeared in Lin Fei's mind, and he laughed. "Ha ha ha, that's great." Su Heng and the rest also entered. Now, only Dugu Ijian was left outside. He couldn't help but be startled by Lin Fei's inexplicable laughter. From the moment he entered until now, he felt that he could not see through Lin Fei anymore. So that's how it is. No wonder no one in the Saint Spirit domain can refine life crystals. This step is too important. Lin Fei quickly looked through it and was amazed by this production method. It was indeed a secret method. Lin Fei originally wanted to wait for Dugu Ijian to enter before refining the life crystals. But Dugu Ijian was lazy and didn't leave, which made him speechless. Not intending to go in, Lin Fei asked casually, "If they enter, they might not reach the next level. If they have this time, they might as well take a good rest. Anyway, everyone wants to go to the Shadow Throne. No matter what, we have to cooperate." Dugu Ijian also learned to be smart. Chapter 29-24. Lin Fei did not want to reveal that he knew how to create vital crystals. Given the system's nature, the vital crystal creation method was definitely the best in the Saint Spirit domain. Once it was revealed, he believed that everyone in the Saint Spirit domain would go crazy. Lin Fei had to proceed carefully. Fortunately, Dugu Ijian did not stay for long before leaving. "I'm not the only smart person here." After the incident with the Shadow Commander, Lin Fei believed that there would definitely be such a powerful shadow mutant in the next level. If he wanted to go there, he had to work together. I'd better deal with the drawbacks in my body first. After confirming that there was no one around, Lin Fei began to create the vital crystals. The process was not very complicated. It was nothing more than compression. It sounded simple, but in fact, without the method, one would not be able to comprehend it in their lifetime. Slowly, Lin Fei mobilized the life energy in his body, continuously compressing and condensing it. Something that looked like a vital crystal appeared right before his eyes. The entire process only took the time for a stick of incense to burn. This was because he was still unfamiliar with it. Looking at the sparkling and translucent vital crystal, Lin Fei could not help but sigh. To be able to purify life energy through a thin layer of matter was truly uncanny. If I use vital crystals to exchange for the essence Force Divine Sand, I reckon many people will go crazy. With the first piece, Lin Fei immediately began to create the second piece. 3 days later, Lin Fei was proficient in creating vital crystals. In a day, he could create thousands of vital crystals, each of which was of excellent quality. Lin Fei used a total of half a month to create nearly 20,000 vital crystals. Without that sense of crisis, he heaved a sigh of relief. After a short rest, Lin Fei entered the second level. Second level, Shadow Labyrinth. When Lin Fei came out of the passageway, he was immediately immersed in endless darkness. My divine senses are actually limited to less than 3 meters. On the first level, his divine senses had also been restricted, but here the suppression was even more severe. Both his eyes and divine senses seemed to have lost their function. So this is the famous Shadow Labyrinth. It restricts everything. It's no wonder that many people can't pass through this level and lose the ability to search with their divine senses. The Shadow Labyrinth is really full of danger. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. 2 gusts of cold wind came. Lin Fei's body shook, and the surroundings became quiet again. Its stealth ability is even stronger than the Umbra swordsman. The surrounding dark environment is a great help to the Umbra demonic beast. Let me think this should be the Umbra assassin, an existence even stronger than the Umbra swordsman. The moment this thought appeared, more than 10 gusts of cold wind came from all directions. Lin Fei did not see the shadows of the shadow assassins. They had all blended into the darkness and were truly undetectable. Lin Fei did not care that the shadow assassin could display his perfect power here. Little demon, show me the floor plan. Bang, bang, bang. The shadow assassin's attacks weren't very strong, but they were very hard to defend against, and they would attack in the next second. Lin Fei activated Proud Heaven Body Fortification and rushed forward. It really is a maze. When the 2D map opened, Lin Fei saw a huge maze. It was twisting and turning. Coupled with the fact that they had lost their spiritual sense, anyone would have a headache. Poof, poof, poof. Lin Fei's sky-defying Stage 8 reached his limit. Casually flicking his finger, that finger seemed to pass through the void, flicking onto the shadow assassins in the night, causing them to collapse one after another. Now that my physical strength is stronger, the dark shadow assassin's movements are fast, but compared to me, he is still a lot slower. Lin Fei shook his head and followed the path given by the system. There were indeed many assassins in the Shadow Labyrinth. While Lin Fei was moving, there was a constant stream of sneak attacks. After the spatial shock activated, the dark shadow assassins weren't so lucky. One by one, they were sent flying and immediately suffered heavy injuries. The second time they came up, they were shattered into pieces. How strong the dark shadow assassins were, how strong their defense was. With just one move, Lin Fei was able to probe them out. Killing them didn't take any time at all. Lin Fei moved quickly all the way. If those high lords who came and knew of the situation, they would all be dumbfounded. There had never been a high lord who could move quickly in the Shadow Labyrinth. Those dark shadow assassins were extremely sensitive to sound, and they would definitely attract a large group of dark shadow assassins to surround and attack. Master, you have to go to the left. This Shadow Labyrinth has just undergone a small change. If Master keeps going forward, he will enter a dead end. There are a lot of dark shadow assassins inside. It can be considered a nest. Lin Fei immediately opened the 2D map of the Shadow Labyrinth in the system. After carefully looking at the opposite side, there was indeed a change. Although the change wasn't big, this change caused the Shadow Labyrinth to unknowingly undergo a huge change. If not for the little devil's reminder, Lin Fei really wouldn't have noticed it. I really don't know who set this up. It's really shameless. It's really difficult to pass through the second floor. With this change, I need to constantly calculate and analyze. Coupled with the constant attacks of the dark shadow assassins, I really won't be able to persist for such a long time. Lin Fei gained a new understanding of the Shadow Labyrinth. It really was different from the rest. Elysian son of heaven, Duguijian, and the others are probably having a hard time now. Lin Fei's heart stirred, and he couldn't help but laugh. The Shadow Labyrinth quietly changed. With the help of the system, Lin Fei began to move toward the center of the Shadow Labyrinth. In the center, there was a circular place that looked like an altar. Without guessing, it was obvious that this was the way to go to the next floor. Although the 2D map didn't seem big, when it came to moving, the area was not ordinary. But when he really moved, the area wasn't just an ordinary big one. Even with the help of the planar map, Lin Fei walked for 10 years, and he barely passed the outer perimeter. In these 10 years, Lin Fei absorbed a huge amount of life energy, and the 8th level of Prideful Heaven Realm was constantly maintained at the limit. The life crystals had also increased from around 20,000 to the current 100,000 life crystals. If word of this spread out, it would be shocking. It was a pity that Lin Fei didn't meet any other supremacies. Thinking about it, the Shadow Labyrinth was so big, and he spent 10 years, and he even had the help of the system to reach this place. Those people probably wouldn't be so lucky. After passing through the outer perimeter, he arrived here. The changes were even greater. It changed once a day, and there was no time for people to think. Lin Fei's movement was still so fast. I can't block it anymore. There are too many dark shadow assassins. What should I do? Suddenly, a voice came from afar. Lin Fei stopped, and the dark shadow assassins that had just scuttled out all turned into dust. It seems to be the voice of Supremacy Su Heng. Chapter 29-25. Supremacy Su Heng and the other two were running for their lives like stray dogs. There were too many dark shadow assassins. They kept on attacking, one wave after another, delaying their steps. In addition to their divine senses being suppressed, the 3 of them were covered in wounds and looked battered and exhausted. Supremacy Su Heng revealed a fatigued expression. 10 years. Ever since they entered, they had never stopped fighting. It seems like we can't pass this level of the Dark Shadow Labyrinth. Supremacy Su Heng had the relevant information, which was why he was able to reach this level step by step. As the Dark Shadow Labyrinth continued to change, he felt that he was getting further and further away from that place. Each time he thought he was on the right path, he would deviate at the next moment. The speed and strength of his attacks started to weaken, and he was only left with 60% of his peak strength. Killing the Dark Shadow assassins wasn't that easy anymore. There's only one choice left. Supremacy Su Heng swept out with his sword, repelling the pursuing Dark Shadow assassins. Looking at the Dark Shadow assassins that kept on attacking, he couldn't help but shake his head. I was still too overconfident. The Dark Shadow assassins formed an encirclement. The 3 of them couldn't defend against such a large number of Dark Shadow assassins, even if they joined hands, and they completely resigned to their fate. Pung pung pung! Another wave of Dark Shadow assassins attacked. Suddenly, without any warning, a terrifying aura descended, crashing into the Dark Shadow assassins like a tidal wave. As the aura swept over, the Dark Shadow assassins were instantly turned into dust, disappearing in a puff of smoke. The danger in Supremacy Su Heng's eyes was instantly resolved. Someone helped. That's great. Supremacy Su Heng's heart shook, and a person popped up in his mind. Is it Vice Hall Master Lin? Su Heng felt that only Lin Fei had such a ferocious and domineering strength, and no one else could compare to him. Supremacy Su, are you guys all right? A figure emerged from the darkness and appeared in Supremacy Su Heng's vision. Exalt Su Heng's heart trembled. His strength has increased again. With a single strike, he killed the Dark Shadow assassin as though he was killing an ant. This is too abnormal. There aren't many body refinement exalts like him. He knew better than anyone how difficult it was to deal with these Umbra assassins. In these 10 years, he had lost quite a few treasures, and only now did he barely manage to find a part of the weaknesses of the Umbra assassins. Su Heng felt that it was impossible for him to be as domineering as Lin Fei, who could sweep away thousands of enemies. The gap was too great. Brother Lin, thank you for your help. Otherwise, I would really have to leave. Su Heng heaved a sigh of relief and looked at Lin Fei gratefully. Even the way he addressed Lin Fei had unknowingly changed. Just the three of you? Not with them. Lin Fei asked curiously. Exalt Su Heng laughed bitterly. The Elysian Heavenly Sons and the rest are not interested in joining us. Originally, I thought that with the notes left behind by Senior, we would be able to make it through. Lin Fei had a good impression of supremacy, Su Heng. At least he wouldn't put on airs. It's fate that we met. I have some understanding of this shadow labyrinth. If you don't mind, you can come with me. In the Dark Shadow Palace, Lin Fei had almost become the public enemy of those supremacies. He didn't mind showing his good intentions now. If supremacy Su Heng didn't appreciate it, Lin Fei wouldn't say anything. It could only mean that supremacy Su Heng had missed out on a great opportunity. I don't mind at all. With Brother Lin leading the way, we might even be the first to reach the innermost area. Su Heng Exalt was not a blind person, and he hurriedly agreed. Ever since Lin Fei clashed with the Elysian Son of Heaven several times, he had always had the upper hand. He walked through the shadow labyrinth as though he was walking on flat ground. Even if Su Heng had the time, he wouldn't be able to do it so quickly. What caught people's attention the most was that Lin Fei's strength seemed to be constantly improving. Why would Su Heng give up such a good opportunity? Let's go. Lin Fei nodded slightly and walked in the direction they came from. Supremacy Su Heng quickly rejoiced that his choice was right. Brother Lin, will something happen if we walk like this? Moving at high speed, Supremacy Su Heng felt uneasy. Don't worry, just follow me. At the start, Supremacy Su Heng moved like this as well. Very quickly, he suffered from the endless attacks of the shadow assassins. After suffering a few times, he didn't dare to do it again. Lin Fei was in front. Supremacy Su Heng was at the back, and the two young supremacies were in the middle. As the Sky Splitter hammer swung continuously, the shadow assassins in the darkness were continuously crushed. Supremacy Su Heng and the other two were dumbfounded. This was too domineering. A month later, they got used to Lin Fei's violent methods. Ha ha ha, our luck is not bad. We found the Shadow Crimson Cliff. Supremacy Su Heng's essence, chi, and spirit had all recovered. He never felt that being with Lin Fei in the Shadow Labyrinth would be so easy. He didn't need to worry, didn't need to think about anything, and only needed to deal with the fish that slipped through the net. Originally, he was worried that they would go the wrong way, but Lin Fei seemed to know how to navigate the Shadow Labyrinth. This was simply too heaven-defying. Supremacy Su Heng didn't think that he knew all the changes in the Shadow Labyrinth. To be able to proceed smoothly, it was all because of his monstrous divination ability. Supremacy Su Heng worshipped this ability 10,000 times over. A year later, Supremacy Su Heng and the other two did not have any objections. Picking up items from the back became what they were most happy to do. Lin Fei didn't care about what they were thinking. From the look of worship in Supremacy Su Heng's eyes, he knew that he must have misunderstood. He was naturally happy and didn't explain. Although the drop rate was very low and Lin Fei didn't care about it, just the wave after wave of shadow assassins was enough to obtain a large amount of life energy. Lin Fei only took a small portion and gave the rest to them. This made Supremacy Su Heng and the others extremely happy. Their impression of Lin Fei was getting better and better. Even with the addition of Supremacy Su Heng and the others, Lin Fei's movement speed didn't slow down, and he was rushing towards the center. All the changes in the Shadow Labyrinth were useless in front of him. I think I'm almost there. That place was getting closer and closer. Lin Fei estimated that he would arrive in at most 10 months. It was a pity that he didn't meet Elysian Sun and the others along the way. Lin Fei wanted to see their miserable looks, and he believed that it would be very interesting. Dugu Yijian was also nowhere to be seen. Lin Fei only needed to hurry. From the 10 months, there were still 3 months left. On the way in the Shadow Labyrinth, Lin Fei smelled a sharp sword intent. Look, these shadow assassins seem to have been killed in a single strike. Even now, there are still sword intents left. It should be left behind by Dugu Yijian. Supremacy Su Hung looked at the corpse of the shadow assassin. There was a black line left on the surface, and it wasn't very obvious. So he left even faster than me. Lin Fei took a closer look and recognized the wound on the surface. It was left by Dugu Yijian. Master, this person's strength is the same as Master's, and he has also experienced a huge increase. His sword art is even more terrifying. Don't look at the wound on the surface. The internal organs have turned into a pool of blood. Lin Fei agreed with the little devil's words. The shadow assassins here are very powerful, and all of them are supremacies. He is a sword Dao genius, and it is normal for him to break through under such training. Not long later, Lin Fei caught up to Dugu Yijian, who was killing the shadow assassins. With a light sword, the shadow assassins all fell to the ground. Clean and decisive. Chapter 29-26. Dugu Yijian stopped, turned around, and revealed a look of surprise. If you can break through, why can't I? Dugu Yijian was in high spirits. He held his sword and slashed towards Lin Fei. This sword was extremely powerful, like a white line. A smile also appeared on Lin Fei's face. Good. He swept the sky splitter hammer in his hand, and a thick purple light whizzed up. A sword and a hammer collided heavily. The void in front of the two of them, under the impact of the powerful force, created a black hole in the void. After a short while it recovered, but one could still see the destructive power within. After Dugu Yijian attacked, he put away the weapon in his hand and no longer attacked. Su Hung and the other two, who were standing behind him, had goosebumps, especially that sword, which was extremely powerful and contained a terrifying sword Dao killing intent. Even the Emperor's protection body trembled slightly. Lin Fei and Dugu Yijian stopped after exchanging a move. Not only did your strength improve quickly, but you also have a clear understanding of the Shadow Labyrinth. If word gets out that you can reach here, who knows how many people will be dumbfounded. Dugu Yijian had his own information, and with his powerful analysis and calculation ability, he walked step by step, but it was not easy. The fact that Lin Fei was able to make it this far was too surprising. The Shadow Labyrinth was more like a test. Try your luck? It might be possible in the Shadow Corridor, but not here. No matter how good one's luck was, it could not be good all the time. This was why Dugu Yijian admired Lin Fei. As for Su Hung, he seemed to be following Lin Fei's lead. Needless to say, he definitely followed. My calculation ability is unparalleled in the world. The Shadow Labyrinth is constantly changing, but it is still a little lacking here. Are you interested to experience it together? It's better than walking around blindly. Lin Fei invited. Sure, I also want to experience your unparalleled calculation ability. Dugu Yijian really did not believe it. The Shadow Labyrinth was famous for being difficult to walk. Lin Fei did not believe that Dugu Yijian would refuse his invitation. The fact that he was able to come this far was the best proof. From Supremacy Su Hung, he knew that until now, there was not a single supremacy in the Dark Shadow Palace who had complete information on the Dark Shadow Labyrinth. Very few people could make it this far. At this point, all that was left was the ability to calculate. It was a test of a person's ability. For Dugu Yijian to reach here, his luck was rather good. He was much better than Su Hung. If they hadn't met Lin Fei, they would have been teleported out. In fact, Dugu Yijian really wanted to see Lin Fei's ability. He wouldn't be surprised if anyone else came here, but Lin Fei was different. The supremacies of the Dark Shadow Palace appeared polite on the surface, but in reality, they were trying to ostracize him. It was not easy to obtain information about the Dark Shadow Labyrinth. Even in the library, they had only left behind the outer route. Lin Fei almost didn't need to calculate. He kept going in circles. Dugu Yijian attacked from the side. Both of them were very strong. As they pushed their way through, not a single Dark Shadow assassin could stop them. Dugu Yijian was soon convinced. These roads were all unfamiliar to him, but he could pass them all. What he worried about the most didn't happen, such as reaching a dead end and encountering the lair of the Dark Shadow assassins. Dugu Yijian had encountered such a situation countless times, and every time he ended up in a sorry state. Seeing that Lin Fei passed through without any mishaps, his interest was piqued. Perhaps this fellow really knew some secret. Dugu Yijian couldn't help but admire him for finding the intersection time and time again. Lin Fei was better than him in terms of calculation. The surrounding Dark Shadow assassins gradually decreased, but their abilities became extremely strong. The most incredible thing was that they were harder to kill. Usually, one move was enough to kill them, but now they needed more than 5 moves. This also proved that they were very close to the end. Unknowingly, there were 5 people in Lin Fei's group. Their abilities had increased greatly. There wasn't much danger along the way. At most, it would take them a little longer. There seems to be fighting sounds ahead. It should be Elysian's son and the rest. Supremacy, Su Heng, heard the commotion. The others heard it as well. Elysian's son is really amazing. Relying on that rainbow pearl and the information, he walked even further than us. Dugu Yijian didn't speak much, but every sentence was important. They should have encountered some trouble. Lin Fei smiled. Previously, I was still thinking about them. I didn't expect to actually encounter them. At an intersection ahead, Elysian's son and the rest had encountered trouble. Originally, there were 5 of them, but now there were only 3. The 2 young Supremacy had left. Clearly, they had been separated by the Dark Shadow assassins. Now, Elysian's son and the rest had their backs against each other. Their bodies were covered in injuries, and they looked rather miserable. Brother Sheng, this is the lair of the Dark Shadow assassins, and there are too many of them. We can't charge through at all. Supremacy Yi Fei's expression was solemn as he constantly attacked the places in front of him that he couldn't see. Damn it, if I had known earlier, I would have gone to the other side. Elysian's son was also regretful. The rainbow pearl is sometimes unreliable. We actually walked into a dead end and even encountered a lair. Let's charge again. Supremacy, Huang Lang suggested. All right. The 3 of them charged forward again. Elysian's son took the lead, while Supremacy Yi Fei and Supremacy Huang Lang supported him from the side. Not long after they charged out, they were forced to retreat. There were too many Dark Shadow assassins. Isn't this the Holy Vice Hall Master? I was wondering where you guys were going. So it turns out that you were hiding here. How does it feel? Isn't it very exciting? Or are you planning to undergo a life and death training here? In the darkness, Lin Fei's laughter could be heard. Damn, it's that brat Lin Fei's voice. Supremacy Yi Fei's eyes revealed shock. It can't be, he can come here. Supremacy Huang Lang was shocked. How did he come here? This place was infinitely close to the end of the Shadow Labyrinth. The name that Elysian Son of Heaven didn't want to hear the most was Lin Fei's name. Why was this guy doing better than him the entire time? After all, he was someone with the rainbow pearl, yet he encountered such a troublesome matter. Training? What a joke. Elysian Son of Heaven almost couldn't breathe. You guys guessed right, I really am Lin Fei. Nothing is impossible. My luck is not bad. I have always been behind you guys. Lin Fei's voice sounded out again. Elysian Son of Heaven took the opportunity to say, "What exactly are you trying to do?" Actually, it's very simple. I'll help you guys, but you guys will need to pay a large sum of money. Elysian Son of Heaven continuously struck out with his palm and said angrily, "Don't even think about it. A mere Dark Shadow assassin can stop us." Chapter 29-27. In the depths of the Shadow Labyrinth. Looks like their luck isn't too good. Lin Fei smiled and said to everyone, others couldn't see clearly, but with the system in hand, they could see everything clearly. The three of them were in a sorry state. They were unlucky enough to encounter a nest of powerful shadow assassins. These shadow assassins were very smart. They constantly moved around and didn't attack blindly. They were rather organized. As time went on, the pressure increased, and the chances of the shadow assassins winning increased. Dugu Yijian could barely see the situation and shook his head. They're really unlucky. Those powerful shadow assassins won't let them off so easily. Supremacy, Su Heng wasn't surprised by Lin Fei's words. It was already good enough that they didn't throw stones. If it were someone else, he would definitely chase them out. That's right. That's why they deserve to bleed. Dugu Yijian said, Elysian sons are unlucky to encounter you. Only you dare to extort money from them. Lin Fei chuckled. As long as they want to stay, they'll definitely have to pay a huge price. Those shadow assassins aren't to be trifled with. You guys have a share in this. Ha ha ha, I knew you'd drag us down. Dugu Yijian wasn't angry at all. Supremacy, Su Heng didn't dare to say anything. Along the way, it was all thanks to Lin Fei. Otherwise, they would have left long ago and wouldn't have the chance to stand here. He naturally wouldn't refute whatever Lin Fei said. Moreover, Dugu Yijian was here. Since he didn't say anything, he wouldn't be stupid enough to say anything. What should we do now? The three of them resisted the sneak attack of the shadow assassins. They were wary of Lin Fei outside. That rascal wasn't easy to deal with. Who knew if he would make a move? After all, at the shadow corridor, they had joined forces to attack him. If that rascal is petty, we won't be able to deal with him. Supremacy, Yi Fei's expression wasn't good. They were already in trouble, and now there was Lin Fei. It wasn't a joke. I think he wouldn't dare. Supremacy, Huangling said. No one dared to confirm this. The person he was facing was none other than Lin Fei, the public enemy of the High Lord of the Dark Shadow Palace. The people outside were probably all dumbfounded. Lin Fei, who everyone was most pessimistic about, had reached this step. He was only a step away from the end of the Shadow Labyrinth. Just thinking about it made people angry. Of the 5 of them, after a long struggle, there were only 3 left. 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. Lin Fei never left. All the best. Work harder. There aren't many dark shadow assassins left. You guys can do it. In the past 3 months, he had heard this kind of thing countless times. The Elysian heavenly sons and the others gritted their teeth. It was unknown whether or not Lin Fei was doing this on purpose, but the shadow assassins kept surging forward, and it was impossible to kill them all. They had consumed a lot of energy, and they wanted nothing more than to go out and cut Lin Fei into pieces. This won't do. I can't hold on any more. The shadow assassin seems to have been provoked. He's been attacking nonstop. Even a supremacy powerhouse would feel immense pressure at this moment. No matter how many dark shadow assassins they killed, they couldn't leave this place. If they were not careful, they would be hit 4 or 5 times, and their life energy was constantly being consumed. For them, there was nothing to worry about as long as their life energy was consumed. However, the current situation didn't look good. Brother Sage, why don't we listen to Lin Fei's opinion? High Lord Yi Fei said with a pale face. I think it's possible. The Elysian son couldn't refuse. Vice Hall, Master Lin, what do I have to do for you to help? High Lord Yi Fei asked shamelessly. This kind of torturous consumption would be very unpleasant to anyone. The Elysian son raised his Buddhist light shield and withstood the attacks of the dark shadow assassins. Ha ha ha, so you guys need help. Why didn't you say so earlier? If you didn't, how would I know? Lin Fei's laughter sounded. Your holy Vice Hall Master is really powerful. Why don't I see him saying anything? Lin Fei wanted the Elysian son to be unhappy. If you guys dare to do this, then I dare to do the same. High Lord Fei revealed a trace of helplessness. This Vice Hall Master Lin Fei was really not easy to talk to. He was obviously targeting the Elysian Sun. The Elysian Sun was already very vexed by the Dark Shadow assassins. Now that Lin Fei had appeared, he was even more unhappy. Vice Hall Master Lin, you're amazing. What do I have to do for you to help? You should know that without us, you definitely won't be able to kill your way through the Shadow Labyrinth. If you help us now, it'll be beneficial for everyone. The Elysian Sun was also very cunning. He brought up the existence of the Shadow Labyrinth to prevent himself from being put in a difficult position. The Elysian Sun was very clear that no one would let go of this opportunity. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. 3 sharp, ear-piercing sounds could be heard. They charged straight at the Elysian Sun. Then I'll send you guys off. Anyway, I won't lose anything. Ha ha ha. The 3 cold auras caused the 3's expressions to change. After resisting for a while, the 3 of them shook their bodies. The defense in front of them had been reduced by 80 to 90%. The Dark Shadow assassins took the opportunity to attack and were in big trouble. You're shameless. The Elysian Sun gritted his teeth and sent the Dark Shadow assassins flying. Wrong. I'm not being shameless. I'm helping you guys to kill the Dark Shadow assassins. Unfortunately, my aim was a little off. I'm really sorry. Next time, I'll definitely hit accurately. Be careful, it's coming again. In the darkness, Lin Fei attacked again. He's too shameless. He's exhausting our strength. With Lin Fei's attack, the Dark Shadow assassins realized that this was an opportunity. Their attacks became even more frenzied. They didn't give the Elysian Sun and the others any chance to rest. The most terrifying thing was that these Dark Shadow assassins weren't that easy to kill. They could only attack them. This was the biggest problem. Brother Lin, you're going to anger them to death with this method of yours. Supremacy Su Hung held back his laughter and said, This is called reciprocity. Lin Fei said seriously, Moreover, I'm not targeting them. It's so dark, I'm just attacking the Dark Shadow assassins. Supremacy Su Hung was really convinced. This was obviously targeting them. Of course. He wouldn't be so silly to say such words. He still had to wait for Lin Fei to bring them along. Holy Vice Hall Master, do you still think so? A few days later, the Elysian Sun and the others were tortured beyond recognition. Lin Fei's attack method was indeed terrifying. It was impossible to defend against it. Just one attack from him had consumed a lot of their life force. They knew that Lin Fei was attacking them and they didn't have the ability to block it. The cunning Dark Shadow assassins also attacked. Every attack would leave a large number of wounds on their bodies. Stop immediately. What do you want? Just say it. Chapter 29-28. The Shadow Assassin was already difficult enough to deal with. Now that Lin Fei was involved, even the Elysian Sun had no confidence in dealing with them. Brother Sheng, I think it's better to agree to Lin Fei's conditions. Everyone is here to go to the next level. The Elysian Sun did not hear Lin Fei's voice. Instead, he heard Dugu Yijian's words. His heart sank. What he did not want to happen the most had happened. They had actually walked together. That would be troublesome. If Lin Fei was alone, the Elysian Sun would not mind finding an opportunity to deal with Lin Fei after coming out. However, with Dugu Yijian, especially in a place like this, he did not need to think too much to understand what was going on. So, it's Brother Dugu. I didn't expect you to come as well. Sorry for the embarrassment. The Elysian Sun's expression was very ugly. He had no choice but to lower his head. If he wanted to go down, he had to let Lin Fei take a bite. Wrong. It should be a few people taking a bite. The Elysian Sun did not believe that Dugu Yijian did not participate in it. Not saying anything did not mean that he did not have any thoughts. Deputy Hall Master Lin speak. We are listening. As long as it is not too much, we will agree. The Elysian Sun said as he sent the Shadow Assassin flying with a palm strike. We want 70% of your harvest from this trip. This is my request. Just take it as compensation for the mental damage you've suffered from attacking me." Lin Fei did not stand on ceremony and immediately asked for 70% of their loot. The three of them were so angry that they wanted to vomit blood. 70% of their gains. It was not easy for them to come down here. Lin Fei was demanding an exorbitant price. 70% is too much. At most, we will go back and you will not get any compensation for your mental damage. The Elysian Sun was also unwilling to agree. A light voice came from the other side. "Up to you. At most, we will not go to the next level. However, to you, it is equivalent to missing out on an opportunity. It is rumored that there are good things in the Shadow Throne, such as legendary treasures. Are you not tempted?" They definitely wanted to go to the last level, the Shadow Throne. However, they were reluctant to give up 70% of their profits. After some discussion, they agreed to give up 60% of their profits, even though they were unwilling. To Lin Fei, 60% of the profits from 3 people was indeed not a small fortune. With the method to create the life crystals, he had no other thoughts about these things. He just wanted to let the Elysian Son of Heaven know that he could be shameless, but he could also use shameless methods. 60% of the benefits could make people vomit blood and feel the pain for a long time. After handing over the items, Lin Fei and Duga Ijian charged in, sending the powerful shadow assassins flying one after another. This solved the problem of the Holy Son of Heaven and the other 2. Seeing Lin Fei and Dugu Ijian again, the Elysian Son of Heaven's face was gloomy. In just a short period of time, he could already see that the 2's strength had greatly increased. "Forget about your rainbow pearl. I'll lead the way here, unless you're willing to go to that place again." Lin Fei did not intend to let the Elysian Sun lead the way. The closer they were to the end, the stronger the shadow assassins would be. "We have the rainbow pearl and the notes left behind by the seniors. It's not difficult to deduce it." "Supremacy," Yi Fei retorted. Lin Fei stepped forward. "You guys can go if you want." Dugu Ijian followed. Su Heng shook his head and followed along, leaving the 3 of them to look at each other helplessly. In the end, they could only follow along helplessly. They knew that although Great Venerable Shaker was powerful, his understanding of the Shadow Throne could be counted on one hand. It was fine to pass through the periphery, but these places were not so easy to reach. At the beginning, the Elysian Son of Heaven and the other 2 did not think that Lin Fei had the ability to lead the way. They had been suppressing their anger and were prepared to mock him. However, as their journey was unimpeded, they immediately realized that Lin Fei had information in his hands, and it was top secret. What kind of joke was this? There would be top secret information in this place. If it was not top secret information, could it be analysis and deduction? Wasn't that a little too powerful? 5 months later, they were infinitely close to the end. The shadow assassins were getting stronger and stronger. Fortunately, their combined strength was still very strong. They were more daunting than dangerous, and pushed their way to the end. To think that we have finally reached the end of this level. Supremacy, Yi Fei sighed, thinking of giving up 60% of the treasures. He did not feel so heartache anymore. Otherwise, he would not have come here. The Shadow Labyrinth was the most difficult place to walk. There was once an expert from the Shadow Palace who spent 50 years in the Shadow Labyrinth and could not find the entrance. In the end, he had no choice but to return with regret. Every time someone entered, those who could reach the end of the Shadow Labyrinth would have great gains. For example, the 5 great supremacies had obtained powerful treasures in the Shadow Labyrinth and eventually became great supremacies. Everyone was very excited. Supremacy Su Heng looked at Lin Fei gratefully and was filled with gratitude. The end of the Shadow Labyrinth. It was something that they did not even dare to think about. When Supremacy Su Heng came, he had brought treasures, but it was still difficult to move an inch in the Shadow Labyrinth. He was very grateful to Lin Fei from the bottom of his heart. Dugu Yijian's gaze turned strange. He thought, I did not expect this guy to be so powerful. No wonder he is so confident. His divination ability is too terrifying. After a short period of happiness, everyone gathered their spirits and carefully pushed open the stone door. According to the information, this level will be guarded by a great supremacy. It is called the Shadow Devil General. It has a total of 10 lives, and we have to kill it 10 times. Elysian Son of Heaven knew more. Supremacy Su Hong and the other 2 laughed bitterly. We have to put in more effort. Why don't we say everything we know? Otherwise, it will not be easy for anyone. No one had any objections. After summarizing the information, they had more or less analyzed the situation of the Shadow Devil General. If we want to kill the Shadow Devil General, we have to kill it the first time. Its strength will become weaker and weaker. Otherwise, even if we work together, we will not have the confidence. Lin Fei analyzed and said, No problem. We all want to go to the Shadow Throne. We have to work together and do it again. Similarly, in a small palace, the surroundings were empty. It was different from the previous place. It was much more monotonous. The only difference was that, in the center, there was a stairway to the heavens. At the end, there was a throne. On the throne, a strong man in black armor sat on a golden saber. Beside him, there was a black saber that shone with a cold light. After a long time, someone finally came. I wonder how many times you can block me. The strong man in black armor stood up and grabbed his saber. Like a gust of wind, he arrived in front of Elysian Son of Heaven at an extremely fast speed and slashed down with his saber. Chapter 29:29. Dark Shadow Demon General turned into a series of afterimages as it attacked. Elysian Sun was the first to be sent flying. The huge Buddha silhouette behind him shattered and reappeared. Blood flowed out of the corner of his mouth. He was injured in just one attack. Why am I always the first to be injured? Elysian Sun could not express his bitterness. He was the first target after so much difficulty. There was no justice in this world. They should be dealing with Dugu Yijian and Lin Fei first. Everyone be careful. His power is very strong and has the ability to destroy. My emperor's will protection collapsed upon contact. The Elysian Son of Heaven warned loudly. Coil! Dugu Yijian raised his eyebrows. Sword intent flew out and coiled around the dark Shadow Devil General's body, coiling around it. Elysian Sun also used a sacred spirit secret method to trap people. Yi Fei and the rest were the same. Thunderclap Leap. Lin Fei also used a big killer move. Its power increased by a lot if he did not use the power of Thunderclap Leap now. When would he be able to kill Dark Shadow Demon General? After leaping over, Lin Fei's energy was greatly consumed. This is too powerful. Dark Shadow Demon General's black fog shook. Everyone's attacks were shattered. Master, you are attracting aggro. Dark Shadow Demon General is coming. Lin Fei knew it was not good. Sky Splitter Hammer in his hand continued to unleash attacks. Dark Shadow Demon General's black fog shook continuously. It charged forward like a stream of light. The huge palm slapped. Waves surged. Lin Fei immediately felt the surging power. Sky Splitter Hammer swept horizontally. The huge power rushed up and sent him flying. The destructive power hit Aotian. Crack, 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 crack. Intense pain engulfed his whole body. Dugu Yijian saw the momentum. Sword intent swept up. Layers of sword intent barriers blocked in front of Lin Fei. A huge sword wheel also appeared behind him. Slash! The sword wheel was like a bright moon, slashing out with a swoosh. Dark Shadow Demon General took a step back. A huge wound was left on its body. Pitch-black blood flowed out. You all deserve to die. Dugu Yijian's attack successfully attracted Dark Shadow Demon General's attention. He turned around and attacked. With the same move, the Dark Shadow Demon General broke Duguijian's sword move and sent him flying with a palm strike, crashing into the wall. His face turned slightly pale. Buddha's palm. A huge Buddha palm struck across the sky. The shadow demon general had learned his lesson. He also struck out with his palm, shattering the Elysian son of heaven's attack head-on. Thunder leap. 10,000 miles of rivers and mountains. Lin Fei recovered and looked over. A huge amount of life energy was not something to be trifled with. The dark shadow demon general was very strong, but in his eyes it had not reached an extremely terrifying level. He could still deal with it. As long as he killed the dark shadow demon general once, his strength would be correspondingly weakened. As soon as the mountains and rivers appeared, they pressed down. For the dark shadow demon general to be able to guard this level, he was indeed not simple. He could still maintain his movement. In just 3 breaths of time, thousands of miles of mountains and rivers were reduced to nothing. Lin Fei unleashed a beam of purple light and shot through the air. Great, that's it. Sure enough, when injured, the dark shadow demon general chose to attack Lin Fei. It seemed that it was easy to attract hatred. This undoubtedly gave them an opportunity to kill the dark shadow demon general. They were all smart people. Without saying anything, they realized that this was a flaw of the dark shadow demon general. This was also the only chance to kill the dark shadow demon general. If they missed this opportunity, they did not know if there would be another chance. Thus, everyone was divided into 4 groups. There was a group standing in the north, south, east, and west. The Elysian son of heaven, Lin Fei, and Duguijian each took a position. The rest were Yi Fei and the others. There were a total of 5 people. If they joined forces, their strength would not be comparable to any of the 3 of them. At least they could withstand an attack. Once this countermeasure came out, the dark shadow demon general could no longer pose any threat to everyone. Ha ha ha, this is a great idea. The Elysian son of heaven's palm struck the dark shadow demon general. He could not help but laugh. It had to be said that this was a good idea. Duguijian also had a smile on his face. It was impossible for any one of them to kill the dark shadow demon general. Every time they faced the dark shadow demon general's counterattack, they had to be on full alert. The other party's power contained destruction, which was very difficult to eliminate. The dark shadow demon general seems to have slowed down. This is great. Its attack seems to be much weaker than before. 1 year later, everyone was smiling. The dark shadow demon general was too tyrannical and terrifying. They attacked for a full year for the first life. However, during this year, the pressure was not ordinary. During this period, there were more than a dozen dangers. The last blow, it's going to die. Lin Fei used a thunderclap leap to plunder the dark shadow demon general's last chance of survival. Crash! With the death of the dark shadow demon general, a dazzling Jingguang object appeared on the ground. It immediately attracted everyone's attention. This time, everyone was calm. No one rushed up to snatch the things that dropped on the ground. Ha ha ha, let's collect them first. When the dark shadow demon general comes again, we won't have time to collect them. Hi, Lord Yifei said. The person who collected them was Duguijian. He used a special storage ring and stored all of them. This was also agreed upon at the beginning. No matter what dropped during this period, the items had to be distributed collectively according to the contribution. Although they were jealous, no one would snatch it. This was only the first wave of killing the dark shadow demon general. There were still 9 waves to go. Maybe something would drop, which would definitely make them feel good. Ha ha ha, it exploded again. There's a lot less stuff. It was also the method of the higher-ups. It took the 8 of them 10 months to kill the dark shadow demon general's second life. They were becoming more and more compatible. The dark shadow demon general's third life took 9 months. The dark shadow demon general's fourth life took 7 months. The dark shadow demon general's fifth life took 5 months. Just a little bit more. Block it quickly. The Dark Shadow Demon General has gone crazy. Kill him and we'll win." With the final blow, a purple arc of light flashed. The Dark Shadow Demon General turned into a puff of black smoke and disappeared. The last life was also completely killed. "Ha ha ha, we actually killed the Dark Shadow Demon General. It wasn't easy." Everyone revealed excited expressions. In less than 10 years, they really killed the Dark Shadow Demon General. This was something that they didn't even dare to think about before. Lin Fei, Dugu Yijian, and the Elysian Sun all sat paralyzed on the ground. For several years, their minds were focused on the Dark Shadow Demon General, and the pressure was also considerable. With the death of the Dark Shadow Demon General, the three of them completely relaxed. It was too difficult, especially the last few times. The Dark Shadow Demon General realized something, and it was very difficult to deal with it. Fortunately, it was finally killed. Now let me see what good things there are. Chapter 2930. The exciting moment of the Dark Shadow Demonic General had arrived. A lot of shiny things appeared before everyone's eyes. These things piled up together like a small mountain. Seeing this, everyone became excited. After so many years, they had accumulated a great harvest. Most importantly, this thing came from the body of the Dark Shadow Demon General. According to the records, it was an existence that was very difficult to kill. In the Dark Shadow Palace, many supremacies were stopped at this level. Basically, they were all wiped out. Over the years, almost no one could see the Dark Shadow Demonic General, let alone kill it. They were hit hard on the way and were directly eliminated. Lin Fei and his group were the only ones who killed the Dark Shadow Demonic General in the past hundreds of thousands of years. If this news were to spread among the High Lords of the Dark Shadow Palace, it would definitely shock everyone. No matter how one looked at it, the Dark Shadow Demonic General was powerful and not so easy to kill. At that moment, they were very excited. What they could not complete was completed by them. They killed the Dark Shadow Demonic General perfectly and gained a huge harvest. Thank you, Lin Fei. If it wasn't for your help, I really don't know if we could make it here, let alone kill the Shadow Demon General. Exalt Yi Fei took the initiative to express his gratitude. He was truly convinced. In the past, I was a little against you, but from today onwards, you are my friend. Huang Lang said with a slightly apologetic tone. The other party's potential was no longer something he could compare to. As veteran High Lords, Yi Fei and Huang Lang really did not think much of Lin Fei in the beginning. In such a short time, he had reached his current realm, and his strength was even above them. Although they were extorted before, thinking about it now, how could that little bit of wealth compare to what they had now? If they continued to offend Lin Fei, it would definitely be a big problem in the future. He now had the battle prowess of a great venerable lord. It was not impossible for him to become an ultimate god one day. Even if there was no chance, he was still a top-notch existence among the great venerables, and they had to look up to him. They had seen everything that had happened in the past few years. Lin Fei's potential was too terrifying, and his strength was also top-notch. In the process of killing the Dark Shadow Demonic General, he acted as the main force and persisted under the Dark Shadow Demonic General's attacks again and again. On this point, they had all witnessed it with their own eyes. The strength of the Body Transformation School was also vividly displayed in the siege of the Shadow Devil General. They had no doubt that without Lin Fei as the main force, if they wanted to kill the Shadow Devil General, the success rate would be less than 30%, and this was only if they were lucky. They tactfully chose to lower their heads. Surprisingly, the Elysian Son of Heaven did not say anything. He just stood there quietly. After several years of cooperation, he still didn't have a good impression of Lin Fei. But he also knew that without Lin Fei as the main force, they definitely wouldn't be able to kill the Shadow Devil General. You guys are seniors, and I'm a newcomer. It's very normal. I won't mind. Lin Fei said with a smile. All right, let's all take a look at what good stuff we got from killing the Shadow Generals 10 times. Exalted Lord Yi Fei and Exalted Lord Huang Lang, heaved a sigh of relief and rejoiced in their hearts. Back then, they had endured the pain of paying up a fortune. Compared to their current gains, the difference was far too great. Even if the few of them were to share 10% of the items, it would still be priceless. I know this, the life crystals. Exalted Lord Yi picked up the shiny crystal on the ground. It was the size of a thumb and was flickering. Its interior was filled with comfortable life energy. Although it was a little small, it was still a priceless treasure. Now let's count the life crystals. Even though the Exalted Lords present were people who had seen the world, this was the first time they had seen so many life crystals. Everyone quickly began to count. Master is really bad. If it weren't for you, the life crystals that dropped wouldn't be this small. The majority would be on you. Little Evil Demon said with a smirk. Lin Fei chuckled. I'm the main force, so it's normal for me to take the majority. Now that everything is ready, I'm just missing the origin energy godsend. My prideful 9th layer physical body. I'm really looking forward to it. Since the majority was here, Lin Fei still pretended to be very excited, so as not to arouse suspicion. After all, his strength had increased too quickly, which was too abnormal. It was easy for people to associate it with some kind of secret technique. This wasn't something he was willing to see. Ha ha ha! I really didn't expect that we actually obtained more than 673,000 life crystals. Exalted Lord Su Heng said excitedly, this is a huge sum of wealth. According to the original agreement, the 3 of you are the main force. Each of you will get 30%. The remaining 10% will be divided among us. Exalted Lord Yi Fei was also clear that in this battle, they were only there to delay. 10% of the benefits would be more than 60,000 life crystals. Each of them could get a few thousand, and they were quite satisfied. These things weren't easy to find outside. Lin Fei didn't have any objections. 30% was fine, and he could still leave a good impression. Seeing that Lin Fei didn't say anything, everyone was relieved. They immediately divided the life crystals. After the shiny life crystals were divided, everyone started to divide the following things. Other than the life crystals dropped by the Dark Shadow Devil General, there were also some refining materials, which were all of the highest quality. There's a secret technique killing move here. Everyone took out a scroll, and when they opened it, it was actually a kind of body-tempering secret technique killing move. No wonder the Dark Shadow Devil General is so powerful. It's because of this secret technique. Unfortunately, it can only be cultivated by body-tempering cultivators. Exalted Lord Yi Fei put it down helplessly. Looks like only you can cultivate this. Dugu Yijian took a look and threw it to Lin Fei. Why didn't it drop a good one? Lin Fei really didn't notice this. 10th level strength technique. Casually flipping through it, Lin Fei's eyes brightened. No wonder the Dark Shadow Devil General is so powerful. It can double its strength. This is too amazing. This was a secret technique that could double one's strength. It could double one's strength for a certain period of time. This was terrifying. Lin Fei was secretly delighted. He was originally worried that if his body became stronger, it would easily attract trouble. If he cultivated 10th level strength technique, it would be completely different. No matter who it was, there was nothing to say. There was no need to doubt his previous strength anymore. I won't take this secret technique for free. After all, it's worth a lot. Although the difficulty is high, and one must have an 8th order heavenly god realm physique. I'll take out 100,000 life crystals. You guys can divide it among yourselves. Lin Fei's generosity in taking out 100,000 life crystals surprised everyone. Chapter 2931. Taking out 100,000 life crystals. Lin Fei didn't feel the slightest pain. The items dropped by the Dark Shadow Devil General were too suitable for him. Starting from the 8th order heavenly god realm, it was simply a secret technique tailor-made for him. When attacking the Dark Shadow Devil General, Lin Fei had been puzzled. The other party clearly didn't use any secret techniques, so why was he so strong? In the battle of physical strength, Lin Fei also saw the problem. The other party was obviously weaker than him, so why was he so strong? Now everything was clear. It was because of the 10-stage strength technique that he could double his strength, so it was normal for the other party to be so strong. Because the Dark Shadow Devil General had a secret technique, which was rare and precious. I really don't know where the Dark Shadow Devil General got these things from. After killing it, it would still drop treasures. It's really too rare. Lin Fei thought to himself. Yi Fei and the others refused at first, but under Lin Fei's forceful request, they divided the 100,000 life crystals. The remaining things didn't seem to be that good. Originally, everyone wanted to see if there were other scrolls that appeared, but unfortunately, there was only one scroll from beginning to end. Instead, that black armor was of very good quality. It was at the supremacy rank. In the end, Elysian Sun took it, and similarly took out 100,000 life crystals. After all, his physical strength wasn't that high. With this supremacy rank armor, his strength would skyrocket. The loot-sharing meeting lasted for a long time. Everyone was satisfied. Although Su Heng and the other two old supremacy didn't get any powerful treasures, each of them had 40,000 to 50,000 life crystals. When they went out, they could easily get whatever they wanted. They were envious, but it didn't last for too long. Instead, Elysian Sun felt a pain in his heart for a long time, cursing, "This shameless guy, he obviously didn't need to pay with life crystals, but he pretended. Now he made me pay 100,000 life crystals." Whether it was the armor or the physique cultivation technique scroll, they were exceptionally valuable and couldn't be obtained outside. Let's rest for a few years before we head to the last level, the Shadow Throne. Lin Fei said that place is the real treasure land. Whether we can get something good or not depends on this trip. After hearing Lin Fei's words, everyone realized that he was right. If they went down, they would reach the Shadow Throne. That place was the ultimate goal this time. Yes, rest immediately. Brother Lin, it would be even better if you could cultivate the first level of the 10-level strength technique. That's right, there's also Brother Sheng. After refining the Supreme Lord Grade armor, his strength will also increase. For the next 10 years, everyone was either recovering their energy or refining some life crystals to maintain their peak state, lest they fall behind. No one knew what was going on with the Shadow Throne. Up until now, very few people had entered. The Shadow Throne was very mysterious. In the past 10 years, Lin Fei had also mastered the first level of the 10-level strength technique and obtained a 5-fold increase in strength. He could erupt for an hour, after which he needed to rest for a day. This was really an unpopular setting. It seemed like even the Shadow Demonic General didn't have this restriction. Lin Fei was speechless. He even suspected that this secret technique had been castrated. Otherwise, how could there be such a restriction? Half an hour, it was more or less enough. He was already very strong, and if he could erupt 5 times his strength, even a great Supreme Lord would not be able to withstand an hour of crazy attacks. It's been 10 years. Everyone should be more or less done. Lin Fei was the first to wake up with a smile on his face. Dugu Yijian also opened his eyes and asked, "You've learned it?" Everyone pricked up their ears. After all, the stronger Lin Fei was, the higher the chance of obtaining treasures after entering the Shadow Throne. If there was an existence like the Shadow Demonic General in the lower levels, they would definitely not be able to withstand it. They had experienced the strength of the Shadow Demonic General, and it was still fresh in their minds. In a one-on-one battle, other than the 3 of them, the other 5 wouldn't be able to withstand more than 10 moves from the Shadow Demonic General. Whether Lin Fei could break through again was very important to the rest of the journey. They were still counting on Lin Fei to be the main force. "I'm lucky, I just mastered it," Lin Fei said. "Fortunately, my physical body has reached 8th Order Heavenly God realm for some time. Otherwise, it would be really difficult to master it." Unfortunately, it can only increase my strength by 5 times, and the time limit is 1 hour. The Elysian heavenly prince was the most worried one. 7 years ago, he had refined this armor and named it the Holy Buddha armor. Its defensive capabilities had greatly increased, and its life-saving abilities had also become stronger. In his heart, he didn't want Lin Fei to learn such a tyrannical auxiliary cultivation technique. On the other hand, he also wanted to obtain treasures from the Shadow Throne. He knew that without Lin Fei, a body-tempering cultivator, their chances of obtaining treasures were very low. Listening to Lin Fei's words, the Elysian heavenly prince was in a bad mood. 1 hour? You're still looking down on it. For experts like them, a 5-fold increase in strength was too terrifying. Killing a High Lord would be a piece of cake. Is this bastard showing off? I really want to chase him out. Elysian heavenly prince could only fantasize about this. He did not dare to do it. Yi Fei and Huang Lang, the 2 High Lords, had already made up. It was impossible for them to deal with Lin Fei. A 5-fold increase in strength. This physique cultivation technique is too terrifying. Dugu Yijian also revealed a trace of shock. When this is over, I want to have a good exchange with you. Perhaps my sword Dao will improve again. No problem. Lin Fei also wanted to have a good exchange with Dugu Yijian. After everyone was ready, Lin Fei, Elysian heavenly prince, Dugu Yijian, and the other 2 walked towards the stone door. Behind the stone door was a stone staircase. Everyone walked up the stairs, and after a few hundred steps, the staircase behind them began to disappear. The staircase in front of them seemed to have no end. Could this be the final test? Su Heng, High Lord, carefully looked around. It shouldn't be. Lin Fei did not dare to confirm. It seemed that it should not be like this. Everyone be careful. It's better to be careful. I heard that the last level of the Shadow Throne has the Dark Shadow Devil Lord, a peak great supremacy expert. I wonder if it's true. Elysian, heavenly prince, wore the Holy Buddha armor to protect himself. The Dark Shadow Devil Lord was like a huge hammer that directly hammered down on everyone's hearts. They almost couldn't kill a Dark Shadow Devil General, let alone a higher-level Dark Shadow Devil Lord. No matter how they heard of it, it was terrifying. If possible, no one would be willing to go against a mysterious existence like the Dark Shadow Devil Lord. This kind of walk lasted for a month, and everyone's hearts were in their throats. It seems like we're here. Chapter 2932. Everyone began to look forward to it. The Shadow Throne. They had finally made it here. Perhaps no one would be able to make it to the Shadow Throne the next time. With excitement, Lin Fei was the first to pass through the portal, followed by Dugu Yijian and the Elysian Sun. The 3 of them were the main force. If they really encountered danger, they could give the people behind them a chance to react so that they would not be defeated in one blow. This time, Lin Fei did not encounter any danger after entering the portal. When he saw the scene not far away, his eyes widened in disbelief. Luckily, it didn't attack me. The Elysian Sun was the 3rd to enter, and secretly heaved a sigh of relief. He had come here twice in a row and had been severely injured by the shadow monster. He could not forget that until now. When he looked up, he was also shocked. The 5 supremacies behind him were the same after entering. Is this the Shadow Throne? The one speaking was the Elysian Son of Heaven. This is clearly a continent outside the domain. Who in the world has the ability to send a continent into a space? Dugu Yijian shook his head. No, this should be a small world. These things belong to the Saint Spirit domain. It should be a corner of the foreign mainland recorded in the ancient books. Everyone was digesting it. Not far away from them was a mainland. The only difference from the Saint Spirit domain was that this mainland was in ruins and no signs of life could be felt. In those ruins, one could see huge corpses, some of which were almost the size of a city. Even after death, there was still a terrifying aura lingering in the surroundings. One could imagine how terrifying and powerful these special life forms were when they were alive. Lin Fei had always been curious about where the shadow assassins and shadow demons had gotten these things from. Now he suddenly realized that they were special life forms from another foreign mainland. These special life forms were similar to humans. However, they had a much better foundation. Hence, Lin Fei had to pay attention to them. Lin Fei also knew that not everyone could go to the extraterrestrial continents. For example, there were extraterrestrial continents outside the sacred spirit domain. As for how many there were, no one knew. Perhaps only the 3 ultimate gods, or some people who were comparable to ultimate gods, would know the specific situation. Now that a special life form from the outer realm had appeared here, it meant that a powerful figure must have made a move. I heard that the Shadow Throne was brought back from the outside by the Shadow Palace Master. It seems like it's true. An extraterrestrial special life form. This place looked extremely barren. However, the terrifying auras left behind by all sorts of special life forms were still lingering even after a long period of time. Everyone became cautious. The lingering aura in the surroundings, even after death, formed a scene of confrontation. The Elysian Son of Heaven had once accidentally walked in and was immediately suppressed, causing him to vomit blood on the spot. If not for Lin Fei and Dugu Yijian working together to forcefully drag him out, he might have really died in there. The rest of the journey was led by Lin Fei. The system kept scanning and found a safe path. Only then did everyone relax. This 3rd floor is more dangerous than I imagined. Until now, I still haven't seen the Dark Shadow Devil Lord. I wonder if he's dead. Su Heng said, "Who knows?" As they spoke, everyone was on their guard. After walking for half a month, the surroundings were still as barren as ever. As for treasures, they didn't see any for the time being. The skeletons of those special life forms were all of outstanding quality. No one could withstand the suffocating pressure. During this period of time, everyone could determine that the larger the skeleton, the stronger it was. When it was alive, it was at least the combat strength of a great supremacy. But now it was all dead. The most terrifying thing was that some of the skeletons were chopped off with a single slash. In other words, it was a powerhouse who killed a great supremacy with a single slash. It was truly terrifying. Outside the saint spirit domain, they definitely wouldn't see such a situation. Be careful. There seems to be movement in front. Lin Fei raised his hand. The people behind him were all on guard. With the system's scanning function, they could push forward without worrying about encountering danger. Dark Shadow Devil General. Lin Fei recognized it. This Dark Shadow Devil General's aura wasn't that strong. It was pacing back and forth in a certain area. Suddenly, the Dark Shadow Devil General stopped and looked around. Finally, it shot a glance in their direction. With a few leaps, it arrived in front of them. "There's a Dark Shadow Devil General. Everyone, prepare for battle." The appearance of the Shadow Demon General was quite unexpected. Over the past half a month, they really hadn't encountered any danger, other than the terrifying auras that had formed into domains that could injure people. Nothing else had happened. "Let me go first." The Elysian Son of Heaven sensed that the Dark Shadow Demon General's aura was not strong. He calmed down and was the first to charge forward. As expected, the Dark Shadow Demonic General and the Elysian Son were evenly matched. In less than 20 moves, the Elysian Son heavily injured the Dark Shadow Demonic General and killed it with a single palm strike, dropping a few life crystals. This is too little. Even the Elysian Son of Heaven was speechless. It was completely different from what he had imagined. "It's good enough that I gave it to you. You don't know how many people are jealous of you. That should be the real Shadow Devil General King." Lin Fei said, "Other than this explanation, there is really no other explanation. Where did such a powerful existence appear in the world?" Gradually, the number of Shadow Generals began to increase. Their strength was average. With their combined strength, they practically pushed their way through. The number of ruined buildings in the surroundings began to decrease, and the ground became flat. We should be almost there. The changes in their surroundings made everyone perk up. Boom! When they stepped into a plane, a tyrannical aura came from afar, setting off a monstrous storm that swept all the way. The entire plane turned black, covering the sky and the sun like the night. Reckless fools, this time. I will definitely kill all of you. Along with the appearance of the aura, there was an angry roar that contained endless hatred. Everyone be careful. This must be the Dark Shadow Demon Lord. Lin Fei's face darkened, feeling the ferocious and terrifying aura. It was more intense and dangerous than ever. The Dark Shadow Demon Lord really exists. Everyone took out their treasures and set up layers of defense around them. The Dark Shadow Demon Lord was the most difficult existence to deal with in the Dark Shadow Palace's ancient records. They did not dare to take it lightly. Emperor's Intent Protection Technique and Emperor's Intent Protection Technique were all activated immediately, ready to face the danger. The endless black wind had terrifying power. It directly crushed over with great destructive power. Chapter 2933. This wave of attack was very fierce, too strong. Is this the strength of the Dark Shadow Demon Lord? It's completely at the peak of the great supremacy. Elysian's son wore the Holy Buddha armor and was also having a hard time resisting. He was on the verge of collapse and his expression changed. The Buddha statue behind him was collapsing. Even the Dark Shadow Demon General isn't this powerful. It's indeed very powerful and terrifying. Dugu Ijian unleashed his sword domain, constantly shattering the oncoming power. His fighting spirit was strong. But I can use this to train myself, ha ha ha. Lin Fei laughed along. He waved the sky splitter hammer in his hand, creating a series of terrifying attacks that blasted black holes in the storm-like breeze. The three of them tore apart the most ferocious wave of attack. Behind them, Su Heng and the rest were much more relaxed. Even so, their faces were full of shock. The Dark Shadow Demon, Lord Strength, was much more terrifying than they had imagined. If not for the three of them blocking, they believed that they would all be sent back outside. This was the most terrifying. Facing such an attack, they had no ability to resist at all. Interesting, very interesting. That old thing from the Dark Shadow Palace actually managed to recruit you, three brats with good potential. Ha ha ha. In the darkness, that voice appeared again. I believe that old thing will feel the pinch after killing you three. Ha ha. Boom. After the mocking voice, a black boot appeared above their heads. It was incomparably huge, and when it stomped down heavily, the entire world seemed like it was going to collapse. Everyone dodge. We can't hold on any longer. The power of one stomp made Lin Fei and the rest's expressions change. It contained more than 10 types of Emperor Intent attacks that complemented each other, and its power was amplified infinitely. Bang, bang, bang. The three of them were instantly sent flying. Go. Su Heng, Yi Fei, and the rest instantly activated the teleportation stone. A white light wrapped around them, tore open the void, and disappeared without a trace. Teleportation stone. That old thing is really despicable. The peak of the great supremacy's strength is really terrifying. Although Lin Fei hadn't unleashed his full power, Proud Heaven was at the peak of the 8th stage, which was no laughing matter. However, the shockwave from the kick had torn him open, making him look like a man of blood. The aftershock energy cut his body like a blade. This was the first time he had encountered something like this. Horrifying, absolutely horrifying of life and death. Are you guys all right? Lin Fei looked at Elysian's son and Dugu Ijian. At this moment, they were in a similar situation. They were in a very sorry state. Not bad. It wasn't easy for me to get my Holy Buddha armor, and now it's damaged again. How unlucky. The three of them soon gathered together. Su Heng and the rest have left. That's good too. Dugu Ijian said, the threat of the Dark Shadow Devil Lord is too great. With just one kick, we became like this. Everyone secretly raised their guard. Without Su Hong and the others, there was no need to worry about them for the time being. I don't know what the Dark Shadow Demon Lord is trying to do. Why isn't he attacking? The Elysian Heavenly Son asked. Ever since that attack, the Shadow Devil Lord had not attacked again. The terrifying pressure in the surroundings also disappeared. The plains also returned to normal. It was hard to imagine that a life and death battle had just taken place here. Dark Shadow Devil, do you want to play hide and seek? Come out if you have the guts. Let's have a good fight. Although Lin Fei was afraid, after mastering the tenfold strength technique and adding his own foundation, he was not afraid at all. Instead, he was filled with the desire to fight. That's right. Come out quickly. Attacking from a distance. Seems like you are also trapped by something. Ha ha ha. The trio's voices spread out and reverberated across the silent plains. They believed that the Shadow Devil Lord would definitely come out after hearing their voices. Hua hua hua! A black shadow condensed in the sky above them. The shadow was very tall and exuded boundless dominance. Chi waves surged. 3 dolls, you guys are quite interesting. I wonder if you are interested in playing a game. The shadow did not make a move and asked with a smile. I dare to guarantee that this is definitely the most interesting game you guys have ever played. Although it was just a shadow, the aura on it was not very strong. The trio did not dare to be careless. This place was a corner of the outer region. They had to be cautious. Once there was a life and death crisis, they would immediately leave this place. Even the Shadow Devil Lord might not be able to break the teleportation stone's defense. This was something they could see very clearly. Game? We are not interested in playing with you. The Elysian Sun felt sorry for the armor on his body. He slapped the shadow with his palm. Buddha's light shone brightly, and the entire plain was illuminated. The shadow gently waved his hand. The Buddha's light that filled the sky dissipated as if it had never happened. It seems like you guys still don't know how powerful I am. Didn't that old thing tell you about the Shadow Throne's origin? The shadow laughed. The trio's expressions changed again. The Elysian Sun's attack just now was very powerful. However, it was easily broken by the shadow's hand. This was the true strength of a peak great supremacy. The 3 of them could not do this. Even Lin Fei himself felt that there was a huge gap between them. The Shadow Throne is actually a part of the outer region. What you see now is only a small part of it. Back then, our mainland was invaded by the forces of the outer region. There was a great battle of life and death. It was truly an unforgettable battle. The shadow muttered to himself. Later on, an important figure appeared and suppressed us just as we were about to die. Although we survived, we also signed a humiliating contract. That person from your shadow palace was just lucky. I don't know where he obtained it from. After discussing with me, he used the Shadow Throne as a training ground. Everyone was shocked when they heard the shadow's words. The secrets behind it were really beyond imagination. Now you understand. Although the Shadow Throne belonged to that old thing, he could not truly control it. Therefore, he could only cooperate. If you want to obtain something from it, you have to play a game. This result was a huge blow to them. The Shadow Throne had actually been created by the cooperation of the Palace Master and the Devil Lord. They could not help but feel as if a bucket of cold water had been poured over them. No one was the first to speak. Master, according to the system's analysis, the Shadow Devil Lord's original body should have been suppressed. The strength that he could display was also not that strong. At the beginning, it was just a show of strength. However, it seems that these words cannot be trusted. A person with demonic nature will not take the initiative to confess. The little devil suddenly said to Lin Fei. In fact, Lin Fei could also see the difference. To be able to send the outer realm mainland into an independent space, the ability was naturally not small. The Dark Shadow Demon Lord's side was very strong, but in the eyes of this big shot, his strength was too weak. It was possible that the Dark Shadow Demon Lord's true body would be suppressed. Chapter 2934. The possibility is as high as 80%. Lin Fei never doubted the abilities of the little devil. After all, he was a system elf and also a core existence. From these clues, if the Dark Shadow Demon Lord wasn't restricted, he would have attacked with his true body. If the three of you joined forces, you might not be able to withstand more than a few blows. The little devil continued. This game that he is talking about is definitely not a good thing. Perhaps he is preparing to escape. Master, the three of you can join forces and try to attack this phantom. Presumably, he doesn't have a lot of energy. The little devil made a suggestion. Wouldn't we know after giving it a try? Lin Fei transmitted his voice to the three of them and proposed his idea. This is a good idea. If his true body was here, he would have definitely attacked. Elysian's son applauded. At the beginning, his true body should have attacked from a distance. Unfortunately, his strength is restricted and the threat is still great. If he were to deal with an ordinary supremacy, it would be a one-sided situation. Unfortunately, he encountered us. After several attacks, he failed and probably came up with this idea. What Brother Elysian said makes sense. Dugu Ijian's eyes lit up. I think we can give it a try. Anyway, there's no loss. As long as the phantom retreats, we might be able to find the true body of the Dark Shadow Demon Lord. Just thinking about it is interesting. The phantom was not anxious. The three of them were strong enough to threaten a great supremacy. However, compared to him, they were still lacking. Even if they joined forces, they could still suppress him. Unfortunately, I can't use all my strength. Otherwise, I could suppress them with one move. How could they be so calm? The phantom thought, "Old thing, you will definitely regret this." The phantom was very patient. They would definitely agree. Soon, Elysian's son said, "Hearing what you said, I will really regret it if I don't give it a try. We have discussed it. Whatever game you have, just take it out." The phantom laughed. "This is the best choice you will make in your life." As soon as he finished speaking, a terrifying sword wheel slashed over. Dugu Ijian was the first to attack. The huge sword wheel was extremely domineering. The phantom didn't expect them to be so cunning. With a wave of his hand, endless energy swept out and collided with the sword wheel. The terrifying sword wheel became incomplete. These little tricks are useless. Bang, bang, bang. The sword wheel continued to collapse. The mysterious man snorted disdainfully. The Elysian son of Heaven's Buddha's palm also followed up. A huge palm imprint with many Buddhas within it. Wherever the palm passed, Sanskrit chants and golden lotuses appeared. The illusory figure still casually swept over, and the gigantic divine palm became unable to move an inch forward. It only managed to break through a small part of the palm before it was forcefully stopped. Then it collapsed along with the sword wheel. How dare you take out such useless things? Just as the phantom's voice came out of its mouth, it suddenly trembled. A voice appeared behind it. I wonder how powerful this move of mine is. The sky splitter hammer smashed onto the shadow. Lin Fei was his trump card. He used the solitary sword and the Elysian son of heaven to draw the opponent's attention. The moment the opponent mobilized his strength, he used the thunderclap leap to kill them, catching them off guard. The gigantic sword wheel and the Buddha's palm smashed onto the body of the illusory figure. "Ah, you're dead." The phantom image dissipated. The resentful voice resounded. "He's indeed a good-looking but useless guy. I almost fell for his trick." The Elysian son of heaven looked at Lin Fei and thought, I really don't know where this guy got his guts from. If not for Lin Fei's suggestion, the Elysian son of heaven would not have dared to make a move. The might of his Buddha's palm had not reached the great accomplishment stage, but it was not that easy to defend against. When the illusory figure was easily dissolved, he felt fear in his heart. He couldn't defeat such an expert, but now the domineering and lofty fellow had disappeared without a trace. All that was left were his threatening words. "You're really amazing. You even saw through this." The more Dugu Ijian looked at Lin Fei, the more curious he became. Naturally, Lin Fei would not say that this was the result of the little devil's analysis. "All right, let's take this opportunity to find the whereabouts of the Dark Shadow Demon Lord." Lin Fei let the little devil analyze. This place was so big and the auras were intertwined. It was not that easy to find. Who knew where the Dark Shadow Demon Lord was suppressed? Be careful! The black boots that appeared before appeared again and stomped down on their position. The three of them suddenly felt like Mount Tai was pressing down on them. The Dark Shadow Demon Lord is angry. His power comes through the air. As long as we avoid it, he won't be able to hold on for too long, Lin Fei said. At the same time, he ordered the little devil to start scouting. This kind of attack was very unpleasant. Okay. The Dark Shadow Demon Lord was very powerful. Unfortunately, the power came through the air, and there was a loss in the middle. The power was great, but it was still difficult to seriously injure the three of them. Everyone separated, so that the opponent's attack could not be concentrated in one place. Rumble. On the plains, the earth shook. Every time the big foot of the boots stepped down, everything around it was razed to the ground. At the same time, huge footprints appeared. Under this kind of fierce attack, the three of them were like a lonely boat in the vast sea, swaying up and down with the waves. Cough, cough, cough. The three of them began to vomit blood. Although they were not hit, the power of the aftermath still brought them great lethality. Everyone was covered with wounds. It was a ghastly sight. Everyone stay like this. His power is beginning to weaken. Lin Fei had been letting the system monitor the changes in the opponent's power. The opponent's power was constantly changing, and it was no longer as fierce and overbearing as it was at the beginning. Looks like it's really a sick cat. The attack did not last for long. The three of them could work together to destroy it. The boots that appeared out of nowhere also disappeared. That's it. Ha ha ha. No one expected that they could persist under the attack of the Dark Shadow Demon Lord. Although they looked very miserable now, their injuries were not very serious. The Dark Shadow Demon Lord is really a paper tiger. I wonder where he is hiding. Dugu Ijian looked at Lin Fei and said. The Elysian Son of Heaven also noticed Dugu Ijian's gaze. I really found something. You guys know that I'm good at divination. Just now, I have already captured the opponent's aura. Although he hit it well, I can still find him. Neither of them doubted it. They had witnessed Lin Fei walking from the Shadow Labyrinth to the end. His divination ability was unparalleled in the world. According to the location provided by the little demon, Lin Fei and the other two moved quickly and searched all the way. The ruins around them became fewer and fewer. The sound of the waves also appeared in their ears, and the air was moist. We're at the seaside. Chapter 2935. This was a black pyramid. It was huge and filled with a high and mighty aura, making people involuntarily have the thought of worshipping it. The three of them suffered a huge impact, and their bodies trembled slightly. They subconsciously wanted to crawl down, and their faces involuntarily showed a crazy expression. Master, wake up! The little devil's anxious voice sounded in Lin Fei's ears. Waves of power spread out, and Lin Fei came back to his senses, feeling a little confused. What happened to me just now? It seems like a black pyramid. No. I seem to have lost control. Master, you were hit just now. I have already helped you block that power, the little devil said. Lin Fei's expression turned grave. He had actually fallen for the black pyramid without any warning. Wasn't that black pyramid a little too powerful? Elysian Sun and Dugu Ijian struggled a little and wanted to make a worshipping gesture. They immediately realized that something had happened. They had great potential, but after all, they did not have the system to solve the problem. Wake up! Lin Fei hit their backs with his palm. This was also a last resort. Their bodies trembled, and they opened their eyes again. Although their blood and qi were tumbling, they also realized that they were hit. They looked at Lin Fei with gratitude. Too scary. This kind of illusion power is at least the power of great success. The two of them had lingering fear. If it were not for Lin Fei, they would definitely be in danger. They might even die here. In the history of the Dark Shadow Palace, there were several High Lords who died here. The Dark Shadow Throne was a place where danger and opportunity coexisted. That pyramid is unusual. It's made with a special method and has great illusion power. If I'm not careful, I'll fall for it. If I'm not wrong, the Shadow Devil Lord is on top of the Black Pyramid. Lin Fei looked up. They looked over and saw that there was a platform at the top of the pyramid. On the platform sat a tall and sturdy fellow. Suddenly, that person opened his eyes, and a domineering gaze shot over as he slowly stood up. It's really unexpected that you can actually withstand the power of the illusory Black Tower. It's really incredible. I don't know how many experts have been defeated by this illusory Black Tower. Dark Shadow Demon King stared at Lin Fei. If it weren't for you, you would have become my puppet soon. What a pity. Being stared at by the Dark Shadow Demon Lord, Lin Fei felt a terrifying killing intent. This shadow fiend Lord wanted to kill him. If it weren't for him, the current situation would be completely different. I'm really sorry who asked your illusory Black Tower to be so weak, Lin Fei said disappointedly. If it was a little more powerful, I probably wouldn't be able to do anything. The words illusory Black Tower still shocked the three of them. This was definitely a top-grade treasure. The School of Illusion wasn't one of the top 10 schools, but it was infinitely close. Rumor had it that once one mastered the illusory domain, one's illusory domain would become real, and one would fall for it without even realizing it. Even peak great monarchs would barely be able to resist it for a moment, but not for long. In the Western continent, one couldn't find a second illusory domain treasure like this. To be able to say that the illusory Black Tower was weak, apart from Lin Fei, there couldn't be a second person. Dark Shadow Demon Lord, I see that you are standing on top, so you must be restricted. You also didn't expect that we could find you all the way here, and even resist the attack of the illusory Black Tower. Your scheme won't work. Lin Fei said with a smile, I think you should think about one thing, and that is how to survive. Elysian Sun and Dugu Ijian really admired Lin Fei for daring to say such words. Your means won't work. Don't think that I don't know that you are restricted on top. You can't fight with your real body, and this is your biggest regret. Elysian Sun's blood was boiling. Are you going to surrender, or are we going to kill you? Dugu Ijian also laughed. Ha ha ha. I, Dugu Ijian, have never killed an expert from the outer continent. If I can kill you today, I believe that I will go further on the path of the sword. Killing a peak great monarchs from the outer continent, that kind of achievement would definitely make one feel proud. The Dark Shadow Demon Emperor said disdainfully, You've got guts. Back when I was dominating the continent, you didn't even know where you were. Even though I only have the strength of a peak great monarch now, I'm not someone you can mess with. Boom! A domineering aura swept over. The void began to collapse and black holes appeared. This is my power. It's not something you kids can compare to. Dark Shadow Demon Lord looked down from above, revealing a cold gaze. The power of this attack was quite strong. Lin Fei and the other two could still bear it, and didn't feel too much pressure. Brother Lin, although we can block Dark Shadow Demon Lord's attack, the illusory Black Tower is a problem. We need to suppress it at all times, and a part of our strength will be suppressed. If we really rush up to fight Dark Shadow Demon Lord, I guess it won't be easy. Elysian Sun transmitted his voice. Although they looked relaxed now, the power of the illusory Black Tower was still affecting them. If there was a slight flaw, they would immediately be invaded, and it was very difficult to resist. Although he said it so easily, after all, it was an expert from the outer continent, and according to his words, it seemed that he had the terrifying strength of a divine venerable. Lin Fei slightly frowned. He had experienced the power of the illusory Black Tower, and if it wasn't for the system blocking the illusion invasion, he would probably be the same as them. This was not something he wanted to happen. I'll be the main attacker, and you guys will assist from the side. I believe that Dark Shadow Demon Lord won't be able to hold on for so long. Lin Fei quickly had an idea. Although Dark Shadow Demon Lord was powerful, Lin Fei wasn't so easy to deal with. A large number of accumulated life crystals could be used to consume. Now, it was better to test Dark Shadow Demon Lord's true strength. How would they know if they didn't test? Lin Fei grabbed the Sky Splitter hammer and smashed it all the way. Now, his physical strength was extremely strong, and with the Sky Splitter hammer his power was even greater, and he approached the platform at the top of the illusory Black Tower. Dark Shadow Demon Lord didn't care much about these 3 kids at first. They were in the High Lord realm, and even if his real body strength was suppressed, he could easily kill them. However, he didn't expect that the 3 of them were so unexpectedly strong, especially the one in a black robe who could see through his real body and break a doppelganger. This made Dark Shadow Demon Lord very unhappy, and he directly attacked through the air, wanting to suppress and kill them. In the end, he returned without success. When they came to the seaside, the power of the illusory Black Tower exploded, making Dark Shadow Demon Lord laugh in his heart. This time he finally got rid of them, and even he could leave here, although the loss would be great. Chapter 2936. The Dark Shadow Demon Lord completely hated this little guy. In his eyes, these 3 people were all little babies. For the Dark Shadow clan, which had cultivated for hundreds of millions of years, 100 or 200,000 years, was really like a newborn child. A body-tempering expert is indeed powerful and invincible among those of the same level. He can even fight against a great sovereign. No wonder the demon generals couldn't hold on. There's really nothing we can do when encountering them. The Dark Shadow Demon Lord relied on ordinary attacks to bring great threat to the 3 people. As for the other 2, one is a swordsmanship expert with sharp sword techniques, but unfortunately he's still a bit lacking. The other is an expert from a Buddhist orthodoxy. If he steps into the great sovereign realm and uses Buddhist attacks, it'll be no different from the illusory attacks. It'll be very difficult to deal with them. These 3 people's talent is not ordinary. Old thing, you're really lucky. With the help of the 2 people, Lin Fei tried to attack the illusory Black Tower, but it didn't move at all. He gave up on the idea and directly dealt with the Dark Shadow Demon Lord. Lin Fei was getting closer and closer to the platform. Dugu Yijian and the Elysian Sun didn't dare to go up anymore. They could only attack from a distance because the illusory Black Tower's pressure was getting stronger and stronger. If they went up again, it would directly exceed their limit, so they didn't dare to take the risk. Brother Lin's ability is really enviable. He's a different kind of body-tempering cultivator. He can actually resist the illusory Black Tower's attack, and his strength doesn't seem to be affected at all. Dugu Yijian continued to use sword techniques. Sword intent pierced through the air, and the power was no less than an ordinary great sovereign's attack. The great Buddha behind the Elysian Sun kept chanting, wearing down the illusory Black Tower's power. However, he couldn't help but admire Lin Fei's strength. He knew that he couldn't do this. After entering the Dark Shadow Throne, the strength Lin Fei displayed was shocking. This was the true meaning of concealing one's strength. Once I become a great sovereign, my strength will double. At that time, it's still unknown who will be the one suppressing who. The Elysian Sun thought. His hands didn't stop moving. When did body-tempering cultivators become so powerful? They can actually resist the illusory Black Tower's attack. The Dark Shadow Fiend Lord revealed a strange look. He knew how powerful this treasure was. Other than ultimate gods, even great supremacy lords would not be able to withstand it. After a few rounds, they would lose a layer of skin, even if they did not die. ordinary supremacy, lords would not be able to resist it at all. Could it be that he brought along a spirit treasure? No, that's not right. Even if it's a spirit treasure, it doesn't seem to be that powerful. There are actually only a few powerful treasures in the Saint Spirit domain. There definitely isn't such a treasure. How did this child do it? Even the Dark Shadow Fiend Lord did not expect that Lin Fei had a system that could shield him. Although it would consume a lot of energy points, it was nothing to Lin Fei. Without the suppression of the illusory Black Tower, Lin Fei could attack without restraint. In the blink of an eye, he had reached the platform. Dark Shadow Demon Lord, is that all you've got? Lin Fei attacked again and again, setting off rays of cold light. Each ray contained a terrifying destructive power. On the other hand, the Dark Shadow Demon Lord appeared very calm. He stretched out a pair of white palms and gently patted the cold light. Every time, he could hit the weak spot of the cold light, and the power became extremely limited. For a body-tempering cultivator to have such strength, it's enough to prove your talent. Your body will belong to me. The Dark Shadow Demon Lord revealed a sinister smile. However, before that, I'll get rid of those two first. A tall black scepter appeared in the Dark Shadow Demon Lord's hand. There was a faint trace of blood on the surface of the scepter, which looked very strange. Elysian Sun and Dugu Ijian immediately sensed danger. The black scepter gave them a very terrifying aura, which made their hearts palpitate and tremble. This was the most terrifying weapon they had seen so far. Be careful. Lin Fei's warning seemed to come too late. The Dark Shadow Demon Lord raised the scepter in his hand and casually pointed it at Elysian Sun and Dugu Ijian. Even if the two were prepared, their flesh and blood were pierced on the spot. Their bodies were instantly pierced through, and boundless darkness energy invaded their bodies. Their flesh and blood constantly collapsed, and in an instant, most of their bodies had turned black. The two of them exchanged a glance, revealing deep unwillingness. They activated the teleportation stone, and white light enveloped them as they left the Shadow Throne. If they did not leave now, the power would not be able to suppress them. Lin Fei's heart sank. The other party actually had such a treasure. The Dark Shadow Demon Lord's attack was very overbearing, and he was still able to resist it. However, with the appearance of the Black Scepter, the Dark Shadow Demon Lord's attack became illusory. Elysian Sun and Dugu Ijian's strength had improved along the way. However, under the attack of the Dark Shadow Demon Lord's scepter, they were instantly hit. It was really unbelievable. No, this kind of attack can't last for long. It must have been accumulated over a long period of time. On this point, Lin Fei did not doubt it at all. The Dark Shadow Demon Lord's two casual attacks directly forced Elysian Sun and Dugu Ijian to leave the Dark Shadow Throne. It was life-threatening. The power of that attack also had a great impact on them. It was not something they could resist at all. Little kid, are you surprised? The Dark Shadow Demon Lord revealed a smile. Although you have guessed it, and my power is indeed limited by this place, it is still a piece of cake to deal with the three of you. Now, do you think you are still a match for me? The Dark Shadow Demon Lord looked as if he had Lin Fei in his grasp. In order to obtain this perfect body, the Dark Shadow Demon Lord also felt the pinch, especially the two attacks just now, which were accumulated with great difficulty. They could ignore everything and attack in an instant. Of course, without this scepter, the Dark Shadow Demon Lord would definitely not be able to use such a powerful attack. Lin Fei suddenly laughed. I admit that you are very strong, especially after you have the scepter. I wonder how many times you can use this kind of attack. 3 times or 5 times. The Dark Shadow Demon Lord's face twitched. He sneered. You are quite confident. Of course, I am quite confident. Lin Fei revealed a strange look. Originally, I was preparing how to kill you. Now I feel that there is no need to hold back. Moreover, I am also prepared to test the power of the secret technique I learned. You are the best target. Boom! Lin Fei instantly released all the power of the proud celestial eighth layer. The surrounding void constantly shattered and reorganized, returning to its original appearance. Mountain splitter blow. Lin Fei released the power of his body. The surrounding kept shattering. The sky splitter hammer struck horizontally. Its power instantly increased by several times. Chapter 2937. After his physical body was fully activated, Lin Fei's strength skyrocketed. His rapid movement exceeded the limits of a great supremacy. Even a great supremacy expert might not be able to keep up with his speed. The sky splitter hammer in his hand kept smashing out terrifying beams of cold light at the dark shadow demon lord. Any one of these beams of cold light could seriously injure a great supremacy. Even a great supremacy might not be able to withstand it for a long time. The dark shadow demon lord relied on the black scepter in his hand. Every time he swung it, he easily broke Lin Fei's attack with ease. Little kid, is this all you've got? You're still far from being able to defeat me. The dark shadow demon lord said with a disdainful smile. Although you're very strong and can threaten a great supremacy, you're still not enough in front of me. Lin Fei didn't know how many times he had attacked, but he was blocked every time. Even if he could break through the blocking power, the power that landed on the Dark Shadow Demon Lord could be counted on one hand. Dark Shadow Demon Lord, you're a famous figure. Can you only passively defend? Is this all you've got? Why don't you dare to attack me? Are you afraid that your accumulated energy will be exhausted? Lin Fei mocked as he attacked. With the support of life crystals, he could continuously attack. I'm really disappointed for you. Ha ha ha. Lin Fei circled behind the Dark Shadow Demon Lord and smashed into a weak spot. He suffered a huge rebound and was sent flying. However, the Dark Shadow Demon Lord was also uncomfortable. The powerful impact hit the other party, and his mountain-like body also shook. It seems that your physical body isn't that strong. Lin Fei's attack was captured by the little devil. I wonder how many times you can last. Lin Fei suppressed his qi and blood and rushed up again. A beam of cold light directly smashed over. The Dark Shadow Demon Lord was in a very passive situation. He was very strong. However, compared to Lin Fei, he had no advantage at all, especially in terms of strength. Ha ha ha, you've been fooled. Lin Fei directly smashed into a flaw of the Dark Shadow Demon Lord. Once again, the Dark Shadow Demon Lord moved, and a small crack appeared on its body. Soon, the third and fourth injuries appeared. The Dark Shadow Demon Monarch, who wielded the Black Scepter, could block 9 out of 10 attacks. However, the last attack was difficult to dodge. His body suffered the impact of the force again and again. More and more cracks appeared, and it looked like it would shatter at any moment. The Dark Shadow Fiend Lord's expression also began to change. I still underestimated you. To be able to find your opponent's flaws in battle, you can be proud of your eyesight, little doll. However, I don't intend to play with you anymore. The Dark Shadow Demon Lord snorted coldly. He raised his black scepter and pointed it at Lin Fei. A black dot penetrated through. Lin Fei had noticed it long ago. Both the Elysian Son of Heaven and Dugijian were defeated by this attack. Chi! Lin Fei blasted out over 100 beams of cold light, forming a blockade. Proud Heaven's barricade was also pushed to its limits. No matter how powerful the scepter was, he should be able to withstand it. In the next second, the defense in front of Lin Fei lost its effect. The left side of his chest was fiercely attacked by the black dot. Circles of black energy rushed out, and half of his body exploded on the spot. Little doll, how powerful is this attack of mine? The Dark Shadow Demon Lord laughed. This was the Dark Shadow Demon Lord's strongest killing move. Even if its power was not at its peak, It was not something a little guy could withstand. Under this attack, Lin Fei was heavily injured. A large amount of life energy was used to repair his body, but it was devoured by the black energy. It was like a bottomless pit, boundless. Do you know why they tactfully left? It's because they couldn't withstand the invasion of this power. The dark shadow demon lord laughed. Unless you have a large amount of life energy. However, under this overbearing, devouring little doll, how many times can you withstand it? Let me see, 3 times or 5 times. Lin Fei finally understood why the Elysian Son of Heaven and Dugu Yijin chose to leave so decisively. No one would be able to withstand such a frightening consumption. Amazing, it's really amazing. After Lin Fei lost 40% of his life force, he barely managed to suppress the black energy. However, his essence was also injured. The dark shadow demon lord squinted his eyes. Your body is really strong, and it's a top-notch technique that I don't know about. Your life energy is very strong. Others need to use 50% to 60%, but you only used 40%. It's really unexpected. It seems that you can withstand 2 more attacks from me. With such a strong body, the dark shadow demon lord could not wait to occupy it. The scepter was raised for the 2nd time. The black light spot appeared again. Lin Fei performed several moves in a row, but he still could not withstand the attack of the black light spot. As mentioned, this kind of terrifying power attack was beyond ordinary attacks. It was extremely overbearing. No one would be able to stop it. Perhaps only the ultimate gods could stop it. It ignored all defenses. Lin Fei was seriously injured again. His whole body swayed, and his face became abnormally pale. He could barely stand. Little kid, if you open your mind now, I can continue to live and even master supreme power. Such opportunities are rare. The dark shadow demon lord's voice became full of demonic sound. Lin Fei gritted his teeth and persisted. Ha ha ha! Why are you reluctant to continue attacking? Are you worried that you can't take me down? You want me to open my mind? Don't even think about it. A large number of life crystals. They were not big, but there were many of them. Lin Fei opened his mouth and absorbed all the life crystals. The life energy inside entered his body. Damn it, I actually forgot that you still have life crystals. The dark shadow demon lord suddenly went berserk. With a wave of the scepter, the 3rd attack came. Lin Fei was seriously injured again. His whole body exploded with a bang. Come on, come on. Your little ability is not enough. After reforming, Lin Fei started absorbing the life energy from the life crystals in large gulps. His complexion also became rosy. The dark shadow demon lord's original strength was suppressed, but with the scepter he could mobilize the energy and perform a terrible killing move. In his opinion, 3 attacks could seriously injure the opponent. He ignored the life crystals. If there were too many of them, they would obviously become troublesome. If he let it go, his hope would become less and less. Die. This time the power increased. With that, Lin Fei was blown up. Ha ha ha, is that all you can do? As soon as it was formed, the dark shadow demon lord waved the scepter again and smashed Lin Fei's body. Humph! I don't believe that you can still hold on. The dark shadow demon lord also gritted his teeth and persisted. Once, twice, thrice. Chapter 2938. Lin Fei's body exploded for the 10th time. Dark shadow demon lord finally showed a hint of joy. He must die. That damned brat actually lasted 10 times. What kind of physique cultivation technique is he practicing? Fortunately, he's definitely going to die this time. I can also perform the possession technique and occupy this body. With such talent, he should be able to cultivate to the ultimate god realm again in less than 500 million years. At that time, Lin Fei's figure condensed again. Dark shadow demon lord made a sound of surprise. There seemed to be something wrong with the Lin Fei in front of him. This was the 10th time his body exploded. Shouldn't he be refining the life crystal? Every time Lin Fei exploded, he would immediately absorb his life energy. Is it gone? Dark Shadow Demon Lord felt that he understood. Ha ha ha, little boy, is it because the life crystal is gone and you can't restore your life energy? That's a pity. You have the best potential I've ever seen. You can hold on for 10 times. Now I'll give you another chance to choose. Open your mind and let me control your body. Lin Fei's face was extremely pale without a trace of blood. He gritted his teeth and said, Dark Shadow Demon Emperor, you always use this trick. Unfortunately, it doesn't work every time. If you have the ability, then do it fiercely and let me see what you're capable of. Otherwise, I'll be able to take it even if you do it 100 or 10,000 times. The Dark Shadow Demon Lord was indeed depressed. He could not take down the few children. He was angry. Since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. Dark Shadow Demon Lord could see that the little boy would definitely not be able to withstand the 11th attack in his current state. The little boy was already an arrow at the end of its flight. He was just relying on his powerful divine body to hold on. As long as he made one last attack, the other party would definitely die. There was actually a slight essential difference between being dead and being alive. For Dark Shadow Demon Lord, this was really not a big deal. He had all kinds of secret techniques, so the impact was not very big. The black scepter flashed with a black luster and shot out a fatal blow. Dark Shadow Demon Lord believed that this time, Lin Fei would definitely not be able to withstand it. Even the most powerful peak, Great Supremacy, could only withstand 9 attacks. The little boy would definitely not be able to surpass the record of 11. Tenfold Power Technique. First stage, 5 times increase. This time, Lin Fei was prepared. He displayed the tenfold power technique he had mastered. The sky splitter hammer in his hand was like a stream of light, smashing heavily on the black spot that was shuttling towards him. Boom! The surrounding void began to collapse, forming a huge black hole. Endless astral wind whistled. In an instant, the surrounding black astral wind swirled and did not dissipate for a long time. It lasted for a long time. The Dark Shadow Demon Lord waved his scepter, and the black wind disappeared. The collapsed black hole also recovered. When he saw Lin Fei, his eyes narrowed. He could feel the terrifying power from the other party. You can actually capture traces and even attack. This is completely impossible. Not only was the black dot's power terrifying, but it also had the ability to ignore everything. In order to hit it, one had to use absolute power, brute force against brute force. The power of the black spot was not only terrifying, but it also had the ability to ignore everything. To hit it, one had to use absolute power, brute force against brute force. This was not what Dark Shadow Demon Lord wanted to see at all. I should thank the Shadow Demon General for the good stuff he left behind. You should know that you gave me so many blows just now. Now it's my turn. Under the 5 times increase in strength, Lin Fei's strength skyrocketed. He swung the heaven splitter hammer in his hand, and absolute power pressed down. The Shadow Demon Monarch did not dare to use the same attack as earlier. With a light swing, he managed to dissipate most of the power. However, the remaining portion still struck him. His expression became unsettled. You actually mastered it so quickly. This is impossible. Lin Fei rushed up. I'm a genius. Nothing is impossible. Die. Bang. 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 Lin Fei was like a shadow. After the 5 times increase in strength, he was truly terrifying. Dark Shadow Demon Lord was drowned in an instant. The power of the black scepter in his hand also began to weaken. Dark Shadow Demon Lord kept retreating. His body was full of dents. Didn't you lose your life crystals? Why are you still so strong? Why? Dark Shadow Demon Lord was hit again and again. He could not understand. This kind of situation shouldn't have happened. Lin Fei kept attacking. He had to admit that this guy was really strong, especially his physical body. After dozens of attacks, it did not collapse. It was definitely a top-notch divine body. Although I don't know what secret method you used, it's not that easy to kill me. I forgot to tell you, although my physical body is not as strong as before, it is still the limit of the divine body. Your hammer is powerful, but it's a pity that it's not a real essence energy magic weapon. Otherwise, it's hard to say who will win today. Ha ha ha. So, little kid, you're destined to lose. Relying on the limit of the divine body and the power of the Black Scepter, Dark Shadow Demon Lord maintained an undefeated situation under the 5 times increase in strength. There was a playful smile on his face. Dark Shadow Demon Lord's words did not affect Lin Fei at all. Instead, Lin Fei laughed and became very excited. Ha ha ha, big idiot, I really have to thank you. Lin Fei was wondering if he should remove the Sky Splitter Hammer and use the Sky Splitter Rod to attack his opponent. After all, that was a real essence energy magic weapon. He did not expect Dark Shadow Demon Lord to say it himself. He was really courting death. Crash! With a thought, the Sky Splitter Hammer in Lin Fei's hand turned into the Sky Splitter Rod. He struck across the sky with all his power, broke through the defense of the scepter, and smashed heavily on Dark Shadow Demon Lord's body. Crack! 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 With 5 times the power, the Sky Splitter Rod, essence energy magic weapon, burst out with unimaginable power. Just one strike blew up half of Dark Shadow Demon Lord's body. I'm actually injured. Dark Shadow Demon Lord was confused. Lin Fei struck again. The Shadow Devil Monarch finally saw it clearly. It was a long staff, and it carried an aura that made his heart palpitate. His eyes suddenly widened. Essence energy divine weapon. Damn it. Dark Shadow Demon Lord's body was blown up. Lin Fei also took a breath of cold air. This is too terrifying. Could it be that the stronger one is the real power of the essence energy magic weapon can burst out? Dark Shadow Demon Lord recovered. There was finally fear in his eyes. He stared at Lin Fei. How can you have an essence energy magic weapon? This is impossible. What he waited for was Lin Fei's domineering strike. Another strike landed on Dark Shadow Demon Lord's body. The Black Scepter began to be unable to resist. Chapter 2939. Second time. Third time. After the Sky Splitter combined with the strength of the tenfold strength technique, every time Lin Fei used the staff, there would be a black shadow that passed through the void and hit the Dark Shadow Demon Lord. Usually after 2 attacks, the Dark Shadow Demon Lord would be blown up. The Dark Shadow Demon Lord had no chance to resist, and the power of the Black Scepter in his hand became weaker and weaker. 8th time. Dark Shadow Demon Lord, this is just the beginning. Lin Fei laughed heartily. When he used his full strength, it felt so good. It felt so good. The Dark Shadow Demon Lord moved left and right, putting up layers of defense. However, he still couldn't avoid the attack of the Black Shadow. The power was full of destruction, and his body was constantly being destroyed. Until the 15th time his body was blown up. The aura of the Dark Shadow Demon Lord was not as strong and overbearing as before. Wait, the Black Scepter moved horizontally, barely blocking the attack of the Black Shadow. We can talk things out. Don't you think so? Everything can be discussed. The Dark Shadow Demon Lord really had no other choice. The power of the Essence Force Divine weapon was too terrifying. Even with his heavenly god body, he couldn't withstand the destruction, and the life force in his body was constantly weakening. This was something the Dark Shadow Demon Lord didn't expect. The guy in front of him was no longer that little kid, but a terrifying opponent. Wait until I blow you up 20 times. Lin Fei didn't want to listen to any words. He pressed the Sky Splitter and directly shook off the Black Scepter, hitting the Dark Shadow Demon Lord's body. Bastard, I'll fight it out with you. The 15th time, the 16th time, Lin Fei's attacks became smoother and smoother. Boundless power kept attacking the Dark Shadow Devil Lord. I can't fight anymore, I'm going to die. The Dark Shadow Demon Lord screamed. Lin Fei wasn't moved, and he blew up the Dark Shadow Demon Lord's body again and again. The 20th time. This time, the Dark Shadow Demon Lord took a long time to condense. His face was pale without a trace of blood. Dark Shadow Demon Lord, these 20 times didn't feel good? You're the one who felt good. The Dark Shadow Demon Lord cursed in his heart. That fellow from the Saint Spirit domain. Where did he find such a demon? Or was it a formidable martial artist from another domain who had taken over his body? It was an essence, force, divine weapon. In the entire Saint Spirit domain, there are very few of them. Where did he get one? If you don't want to talk, I'll do it again. Lin Fei attacked through the air and blew up the Dark Shadow Demon Lord without any explanation. The 21st time. Does it feel good? Lin Fei held the sky-splitting rod in his hand. Awesome, very awesome. The Dark Shadow Demon Lord endured the humiliation and replied. He was filled with hatred for Lin Fei. Then, do you still want to continue enjoying yourself? I can see that your body can still endure 7 or 8 more times. Lin Fei said with a smile, Little brother, I was wrong. I'm willing to compensate you for your loss. What do you think? I have a lot of things on me. Any one of them is a good thing. The Dark Shadow Demon Lord didn't dare to do it a few more times. He would have to accept his fate. Lin Fei smirked. Your things are all mine. If I kill you, all of them will be revealed. Do you think that would be of any use to me? With that, he raised his staff and prepared to strike. Wait, we can discuss this. The Dark Shadow Demon Lord was anxious. With the essence, force, divine weapon, there was no problem killing him. He could only wait. After an hour, he might still have a chance to live. We can discuss it. For example, you can throw the black staff in your hand over. I think it's good. Lin Fei pointed at the black staff. No, absolutely not. Lin Fei squinted. I can definitely do it. What do you think? The sky splitter pointed at him. It seemed that if the Dark Shadow Demon Lord said no, the staff would come down immediately. Sure. The Dark Shadow Demon Lord could only compromise. After all, even if the scepter was in the other party's hands, he might not be able to control it. It was something he had obtained from a mysterious place back then. Just refining it had taken him hundreds of millions of years. What could a brat do? When the time came, he could get it back with a single thought. The Dark Shadow Demon Lord gritted his teeth and threw the black staff. Lin Fei reached out and caught it. So this is also an essence, force, divine weapon. It seems different from mine. The Dark Shadow Demon Lord looked down on Lin Fei. He said in a low voice, Little brother, you don't know this. The essence, force, divine weapon in your hand is of the strength type. It can increase your attack power. Mine is of the Emperor's will. Its power is greater. Mine is called the No Mercy Scepter. It can ignore all defensive attacks. No Mercy Scepter. It's really awesome. Lin Fei snorted. He put away the staff and smashed the Dark Shadow Demon Lord. From the 21st time onwards, without the No Mercy Scepter, the Dark Shadow Demon Lord's resistance became weaker. His body was directly smashed. I've already handed over the No Mercy Scepter. The Dark Shadow Demon Lord's face was full of hatred. I don't like you. So I'll do it again. The Sky Splitter swept again and smashed the Dark Shadow Demon Lord. The recovered Dark Shadow Demon Lord's aura was even weaker. Lin Fei came in front of the Dark Shadow Demon Lord. Under his control, the Sky Splitter turned into a golden circle, tightly binding the Dark Shadow Demon Lord. In order to avoid trouble, I think I have to do one thing. Lin Fei patted the Dark Shadow Demon Lord with one hand. His whole body shook. A bad feeling rose in the Dark Shadow Demon Lord's heart. Plunder. The skill was activated. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Lin Fei began to plunder the Dark Shadow Demon Lord's life energy. That was the safest way. The Dark Shadow Demon Lord was shocked to find that the life energy in his body kept flowing out. He was completely shocked. "I'll fight you. No Mercy Scepter." He summoned the No Mercy Scepter. However, the No Mercy Scepter stopped in midair. Under the Dark Shadow Demon Lord's summon, it did not move at all. He was dumbfounded. This was not right. "No need to take it. I've temporarily sealed the No Mercy Scepter. You'd better be obedient and contribute your life energy." Lin Fei kept plundering. "Impossible. No one has ever been able to plunder so much life energy and be fine." The Dark Shadow Demon Lord could not break free from the Sky Splitter. He did not believe that someone could keep plundering life energy. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. A large amount of life energy poured in. Moreover, it was extremely pure. What a great supplement! Lin Fei's eyes lit up. After the time it took for a joss stick to burn, an hour, Lin Fei was still plundering. The Dark Shadow Demon Lord was in despair. His strength was infinitely weakened and he could not resist. "Stop plundering. If you continue, I'll die. I admit defeat." Chapter 2940. Dark Shadow Devil Lord had completely withered. To him, there was nothing he was afraid of except facing death. In this place, even if he met a powerful opponent, Dark Shadow Devil Lord could rely on his powerful heavenly god body to resist the opponent. In addition to his rich life energy, even 100,000 years would not kill him. But now, the most terrifying scene appeared. This little guy had mastered a heaven-defying ability. Not only could he seal the unpardonable scepter, but he could also violently rob his life energy. This was a terrible nightmare. Dark Shadow Devil Lord looked at the life energy rushing over and seeing that the other party was safe and sound. "I lost, don't suck anymore." Dark Shadow Devil Lord's voice became weak. Since Lin Fei crazily sucked Dark Shadow Devil Lord's life energy, a full month had passed. It was a very short time, but in Dark Shadow Devil Lord's eyes, it was the most terrifying thing in his life. His life energy was almost absorbed, and his previous prestige was gone. Dark Shadow Devil Lord didn't know how many times he said this, but the other party never stopped and kept sucking. Lin Fei finally stopped and showed a satisfied smile. The harvest was too rich, just this huge amount of life energy. He believed that as long as he had enough Yuan Qi God sand, his Proud Heaven body could reach Proud Heaven level 9. Combined with this life energy, it should not be a problem to smoothly reach the peak of Proud Heaven level 9. Lin Fei really wanted to thank Dark Shadow Devil Lord for his contribution. He was really a good person. "I am now considering whether to kill you." Lin Fei sized up Dark Shadow Devil Lord. "Don't kill me. My life energy has been absorbed by you. There is no meaning in killing me." Dark Shadow Devil Lord was afraid. "I still have some good things to give you." Without waiting for Lin Fei to say anything, Dark Shadow Devil Lord took out a treasure. "This is our Dark Shadow clan's top cultivation method, Dark Shadow Stealth. It is not the emasculated version that is circulating outside. It can truly achieve Dark Shadow Stealth. And this, a treasure left behind by a Temporal Temple expert. Time freeze, a one-time attack scroll that can affect a great sovereign, Lord Expert." Lin Fei's eyes lit up. This was a really good thing. Although he knew a bit of both the Tao of Space and the Tao of Time, as his cultivation increased, this bit of power would not be able to cause any damage, becoming very useless. "It's good, but it's not enough. I still have more." In order to survive, the Dark Shadow Demon Lord was willing to go all out. He took out one treasure after another. Any one of them would make him go crazy. Lin Fei was not very interested in some of the treasures, especially those semi-finished elemental energy divine weapons. They were not attractive to him at all. Apart from a few good items, the rest aren't that great. After thinking about it, if I kill you, I might be able to get something good. Lin Fei said. Dark Shadow Fiend Lord's face was ashen. These treasures had been gathered with great difficulty. Don't! I can tell you a shocking secret. Dark Shadow, fiend, monarch, gritted his teeth. This is a disaster for others, but for you it might be an opportunity. There's such a big secret. Lin Fei did not quite believe it. Yes, as long as you promise not to kill me, I will tell you, Dark Shadow Demon Lord said. However, you have to swear first, then I will tell you. If you want to use force, I can guarantee that you won't get any secret. If you don't believe me, you can try. Lin Fei also wanted to see what tricks Dark Shadow Demon Lord would play. As for using force to rob, he was not interested. This old monster, who knew what he was hiding. Big secret, hee. Okay, but if the secret you say is not a big secret, I will kill you with one blow. You'd better be mentally prepared. Lin Fei pointed the sky-splitting rod in his hand at Dark Shadow Demon Lord. Under the witness of Dark Shadow Demon Lord, Lin Fei made a vow. You can say it now. Dark Shadow Demon Lord secretly heaved a sigh of relief. Although the binding power of the vow was not that strong, it still had a certain influence on an expert like Lin Fei. I come from the Umber Continent, which is what you call the extraterritorial continent. Dark Shadow Demon Lord began to say, the reason why I am imprisoned here is actually very simple. It is because our Umber Continent invaded the Saint Spirit domain and started a war in an attempt to control this place. Lin Fei was finally moved. Invasion. The extraterritorial continents really did exist. Wait, then what you said previously was a lie. It was not your continent that had a war, but your continent invaded. Lin Fei understood. The invasion of the extraterritorial continents requires a lot of energy, and it may not succeed. Is your Umbra continent so free that you have nothing better to do? Why would you travel through time and space to the Saint Spirit domain? Dark Shadow Demon Lord laughed bitterly and said, I lied to you. The continent we live in is surrounded by a special energy. We call this energy primordial annihilation. The continent itself has a special substance that can resist primordial annihilation. This substance exists in quantity. Over a long period of time, this substance's energy will be continuously consumed. Then, as you know, primordial annihilation from the outside will invade and completely destroy the continent. Lin Fei really did not know about this. Secret. It was definitely a big secret. Probably only a few people at the top knew that primordial annihilation had the ability to destroy. Our Umber continent was invaded by primordial annihilation. This power is extremely overbearing. It will slowly move, devour, and destroy. Everything it covers will be turned into nothingness. You can imagine how terrifying it is. No existence can survive it. This primordial annihilation was born together with the continent. As long as there are extraterritorial continents, there will be primordial annihilation. At the same time, primordial annihilation will block all foreign substances from entering the continent. Lin Fei listened very carefully. If he had not forced the Dark Shadow Demon Lord, it would have been very difficult for him to know this secret. Lin Fei was even more excited about the big secret that the Dark Shadow Demon Lord spoke of. Back then, our Umber continent was about to be destroyed, so we invaded the Saint Spirit domain. Unfortunately, at that time, the Saint Spirit domain's power was tyrannical and terrifying. There were as many experts as there were clouds in the sky. We sacrificed the entire continent, but we failed to conquer the Saint Spirit domain. The Dark Shadow clan either died or were injured. After a long period of time, the Dark Shadow clan disappeared in the long river of history. However, this is not the most important thing. The most important thing is the big secret that I will tell you. The palace lord of your Umber Palace is from the Dark Shadow clan. Lin Fei heard the last part and gasped in disbelief. Chapter 2941. Big Secret. Lin Fei himself was shocked. The Dark Shadow Palace's supreme divinity was from the Dark Shadow tribe. If word got out, many people would be dumbfounded. It was a real big secret. There's nothing to be surprised about. So far, I'm the only one who knows the secret. He thought he hid it well, but I have a secret technique that can see through him. Little brother, this is definitely an earth-shattering secret. Back then, the Dark Shadow continent invaded the Saint Spirit domain and suffered heavy casualties. The huge race almost disappeared, and the Saint Spirit domain and the Dark Shadow tribe became mortal enemies. Let me tell you another secret. There are actually descendants of the Dark Shadow tribe among the martial artists of the Saint Spirit domain's Devil Motherland. The Dark Shadow demon Lord revealed a secret, and then a second one. Lin Fei knew about the existence of the Devil Motherland. The demons there were very powerful. At the same cultivation level, they could easily defeat the martial artists of the human race. Especially their physical bodies, they were famous for being tough. Lin Fei had always thought that they had cultivated a powerful physical body cultivation method that had forged their bodies to be extremely strong. After hearing what the Dark Shadow Demon Lord said, he immediately realized that it seemed to be a possibility. The demons of the Devil Motherland had been wreaking havoc in the Saint Spirit domain. Even the three top forces could not really destroy them. Every once in a while, they would appear and cause a bloodbath. If what the Dark Shadow Demon Lord said was true, the descendants of the Dark Shadow tribe might really have a deep connection with the Devil Motherland. It was hard to say if they were not the cause. I've told you all my secrets. These are the big secrets of the Saint Spirit domain. No one knows about them. The Dark Shadow Demon Lord looked at Lin Fei, hoping that he would leave immediately. Lin Fei kept looking at the Dark Shadow Demon Lord, seemingly thinking about something. You're very lucky. Since I said I won't kill you, I definitely won't. The Dark Shadow Demon Lord was very powerful. Only he could force him to reveal his secrets. Ordinary people could not do that. Lin Fei really could not bear to kill such a good human cauldron, even if the Dark Shadow Demon Lord knew some secrets. Let me ask you one more thing. In the Saint Spirit domain, where else produces divine essence sand? This was a question that Lin Fei was more concerned about. Others might not know, but the Dark Shadow Demon Lord definitely knew. After knowing the relationship between Yuan Mia and the continent from Dark Shadow Devil Lord, Lin Fei gave up on the idea of digging the god sand of Yuan Mia by himself. Unless his proud heaven reached the 10th level of proud heaven, then he might be able to go. But for now, he still had to rely on Dark Shadow Devil Lord. There are people from the Black Domain. After all, the Black Domain is very complicated and there are many factions. Anyone who comes out is an expert. It's a pity that they don't care about things outside the Saint Spirit domain. The Shadow Demon Lord looked at Lin Fei, not understanding why Lin Fei was asking about this. Of course I know about the Black Domain. What I'm asking is if there are any other places. What's the point of talking so much? Do you want me to continue plundering your life force? Lin Fei pretended to attack. Not killing you doesn't mean I won't plunder your life force. Dark Shadow Fiend Lord's expression changed. Let me think. If you can't figure it out, you're done for. The Saint Spirit domain was so big. Lin Fei knew a lot of secrets, but he really didn't know where else there was God Sand of Yuan Mia. Now, he could only rely on Dark Shadow Demon Lord. Proud Heaven was at the peak of the 8th level. He was stuck here, and it was very uncomfortable. Lin Fei had to break through as soon as possible so that his strength could be greatly improved. With the help of the Dark Shadow Demon General strength, he could sweep away the great supremacies. The Dark Shadow Demon Lord kept flipping through his memories. If he continued to plunder the life force in his body, he would be completely finished. Without life force, the physical body lost its meaning and became an empty shell. Just as Lin Fei was getting impatient, Dark Shadow Demon Lord finally found a place. Don't attack, little brother. I'll tell you right away. Besides the Black Domain, there really is another place. However, this place is a little special. However, with little brother's strength, there shouldn't be any problem. What place? That is the Saint Spirit domain, a place of a foreign race. I only found out about that place when I was fighting. We are called the Sky Feather Nation, a small hidden nation. This small nation doesn't have many people, but this race has an ability that human experts don't. That is the ability to ignore everything. At the same time, they are a bunch of lunatics. Lin Fei frowned slightly. This ability can be inherited? Lunatics. Yes, it's a bloodline inheritance. My merciless scepter was actually forged by them. Dark Shadow Demon, Lord said. They are probably the only existence in the entire Saint Spirit domain that can enter annihilation, to collect the god sand of Yuanmia. However, the Sky Feather Nation is very arrogant. It is very difficult to get the god sand of Yuanmia from them. I advise you not to offend them. Lin Fei listened quietly. He especially emphasized the word lunatic. His heart trembled. There is actually such a mysterious existence in the Saint Spirit domain. If not for Dark Shadow Demon Lord mentioning it, he reckoned that he would know for a long time. They all said that they were hidden from the world. In the Saint Spirit domain, Lin Fei had never heard of their existence. If you want the god sand of Yuanmia, you can only go to the Sky Feather Nation. Dark Shadow Demon Lord grabbed at the space between his eyebrows, and a ball of light appeared. I copied the route of the Sky Feather Nation. You just have to follow the direction. Lin Fei accepted it without hesitation. Having obtained the most important information, he was satisfied. There was hope for breaking through to the 9th level of the world-defying realm. Even if it was a 1 in 10,000 chance, he still had to try. It's a pity that I don't have the chance to take away the illusory Black Tower. Lin Fei secretly glanced at the illusory Black Tower beneath him. This was a top-notch item. No matter where he put it, it was guaranteed that he would immediately fall into its trap. He took out the teleportation stone, crushed it, and teleported out. Dark Shadow Demon Lord was startled. The other party actually left. I still underestimated this guy. Isn't he afraid that one day when I leave, I'll find trouble with you again? However, my plan has also succeeded. Dark Shadow Divinity, a body-refining brat with limitless potential, might ruin all your plans. That's really interesting. I have to speed up too. A strange look flashed across Dark Shadow Demon Lord's face. Dark Shadow Palace inside a palace. There were a few people waiting. Among them were Dugu Yijian, Su Heng, and the others. He's out. Deputy Hall Master Lin is out. When there was a fluctuation in the void, they knew that Lin Fei had come out. A white light tore through the void, and Lin Fei's figure also appeared in the palace. No matter how one looked at it, he seemed to be in a sorry state. There was even a hint of exhaustion between his brows. For a body-refining elite, this was quite inconceivable. When Lin Fei saw the people present, he was also quite surprised. He didn't think that they would be waiting for him outside.